So welcome back, Elaine, for another Fast Letting Go live session. We're going to do it a little bit differently today, as discussed. Let's dive into some text for a change from A Course in Miracles. So this one is going to be section 6 of chapter 17, called Setting the Goal. Let's see how many paragraphs it is. 7 paragraphs. So yeah, not too bad, and we can probably finish this. Okay, let me share my screen with you. Give me a moment to do that. Okay, so can you see that?
Yeah.
So this is section 6 of chapter 17, setting the goal. So what I'm going to suggest, because I need to do a bit of editing on this, I haven't put in the abundance stuff. So you read the originals and I'll read the alternative.
All right.
Edit as I go. All right, so start off with number 1. Sentence 1 of paragraph 1, you can read that.
The practical application of the Holy Spirit's purpose is extremely simple, but it is unequivocal.
The practical application of the remembrance of perfect love's purpose is extremely simple, but it is unequivocal.
In fact, in order to be simple, it must be unequivocal.
In fact, in order to be simple, it must be unequivocal.
The simple is merely what is easily understood, and for this it is apparent that it must be clear.
The simple is merely what is easily understood, and for this to be the case, it is apparent that it must be clear. So it's saying clarity, simplicity go together.
Yeah. The setting of the Holy Spirit's goal is general.
Setting of the remembrance of perfect love's goal is general.
Now he will work with you to make it specific, for application is specific.
Now it will work with me to make it specific, for application is specific.
6. There are certain very specific guidelines he provides for any situation, but remember that you do not yet realize their universal application.
There are certain very specific guidelines it provides for any situation, but I may not yet realize their universal application.
And therefore, it is essential at this point to use them in each situation separately until you can more safely look beyond each situation in an understanding far broader than you now possess.
Therefore, it is essential at this point for me to use them in each situation separately until I can more safely look beyond each situation in an understanding far more expanded than I may now have. Okay, so if you read it from the top in the alternative.
Yeah. The practical application of the remembrance of perfect love's purpose is extremely simple, but it is unequivocal. In fact, in order to be simple, it must be unequivocal. The simple is merely what is easily understood, and for this to be the case, it is apparent that it must be clear. The setting of the remembrance of perfect love's goal is general. Now it will work with me to make it specific, for application is specific. There are certain very specific guidelines it provides for any situation, but I may not yet realize their universal application. Therefore, it is essential at this point for me to use them in each situation separately until I can more safely look beyond each situation in an understanding far more expanded than I may now have. Just the application to apply this remembrance of perfect love's purpose is very simple and unequivocal. Very simple, it's saying. But the setting of the remembrance of perfect love goal is general. So, so it will work with us in a specific for any application.
Yeah. So the principles are general, they're theoretical, but they must be applied in each situation. So for instance, the general principle of letting go of forgiveness is there, but you've just been to a wedding, you had to apply it in that specific application.
Right, yes, that's
of the wedding and whatever challenges came up in the wedding. There were a few situations that were tricky.
Yes.
And that's really what it's about. It's the rubber meets the road, and that's how you move forward in the journey, in the application of these principles. So it's a bit like, you have a fantastic, let's say, luxury German vehicle, but you never drive it. So it never goes anywhere.
Yeah,
So
or
it's
that
kind of pointless. You have these amazing principles, but you never actually get in the car and drive them and use them and go anywhere useful. It would be that kind of thing. The car just sits unused in the driveway. So that's an analogy of like, well, a theoretical application as opposed to practical utility value. I mean, you've probably seen. I remember once watching a program about a billionaire in Turkey, and he had like 20 Rolls Royces stuff lined up in his drive. I'm like, what a waste! You're not even using it, just so you can say the car is there. Oh, look at what I've got, but there's no
yes.
utility value to it. You're not actually
Oh,
using them because
yes.
who can use 20 vehicles? You might use one or two on a daily basis. Almost certainly, he's probably using one, two, maybe three max in his daily life, and the rest are just sitting there. So what's the point?
Yeah.
As we mentioned in our expression, that's just consumerism gone mad. There's no utility value for that car. The vehicle is meant to travel. It has a function in its purpose is to take people from A to B, maybe in luxury and style as well. But essentially that's the purpose of the vehicle. If it's just sitting in a drive, it's not fulfilling its fundamental function. In the same way, if we're not actually applying forgiveness or letting go in these practical situations that present themselves in our lives, then we are not actually using these profound spiritual principles for our benefit. So they're not much use to us then. Oh, I know, I mean, this is a classic. A lot of course students go, oh, I know the course, I've read the course, but are you applying the course?
That's the big one. Yeah.
There's a big difference. Oh, I've read it, yeah, some nice spiritual reading. Yes, maybe I understand some fancy concepts and I can talk intellectually about that. But if you don't apply it in these specific instances, then the course isn't going to be much use to you at all. So it's the application of the principles into the practical specific applications that the Holy Spirit guides you to do. That's when it becomes very, very useful and an enormously powerful tool in your life. This is now your guide in life. It's going to help you solve problems, going to deal with whatever problems crop up, whatever difficult situations. It's going to help you do all of that, but you've got to use it and learn how to apply these principles in every situation. So that's really all he's saying here, which should be common sense and obvious, but it's not. A lot of people don't apply course principles. There's many students of a course who are theoretical, but they don't actually apply it in their lives. I mean, a classic example of that was Helen Schuckman herself, the scribe. Yes, she understood the theory. She'd spent years writing it, scribing it, understanding the concept. She was an intellectual. She was, academically bright, but she didn't apply the principles to her life, so they weren't much good to her. The transformational power of them was very limited because she didn't use them and apply them. She knew them, but she couldn't apply them. Whereas her co-scribe, Bill Thetford, was probably the first proper course student who actually used them and applied them and changed his mind and his life as a result, quite profoundly. Became, some would say, very enlightened. At the end of his life, after 15 to 20 years of studying the course, he'd become this very zen, equanimous, asexual kind of being, just a very warm, loving, comfortable presence to be in. And that was as a result of his application of these principles to his life. Okay, so any other thoughts, comments, or questions on that first one? Happy to go on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, yeah.
All right, let's go on then to the next one. Not terribly much to change here, but you do the original if you don't mind, because then I can just edit the the alternative down below. Okay, so go for it.
In any situation in which you're uncertain, the first thing to consider very simply is, what do I want to come of this?
In any situation which I'm uncertain, the first thing to consider, very simply, is, what do I want to come from this?
What is it for?
What is it for?
The clarification of the goal belongs at the beginning, for it is this which will determine the outcome.
Interesting. So I'm missing the numbers here for some reason. Is that in all of them? It is actually. Okay. So the first one had numbers, didn't it?
Yes.
But these ones don't. Who knows why? I don't know. I'll just have to add the numbers as we go. Okay. Clarification of the goal belongs at the beginning, for it is this which will determine the outcome.
Yeah. In the ego's procedure, this is reversed.
This is reversed in my separate self's procedure.
The situation becomes the determiner of the outcome, which can be anything.
The situation becomes the determiner of the outcome, which can be anything.
The reason for this disorganized approach is evident.
The reason for this disorganized approach is evident.
The ego does not know what it wants to come of the situation.
My belief in separation does not know what it wants to come from the situation.
It is aware of what it does not want, but only that.
Changing that. What outcome it wants from the situation is better. It is aware of what it does not want, but only that.
It has no positive goal at all.
It has no positive goal at all.
In any situation in which I am uncertain, the first thing to consider very simply is, what do I want to come from this? What is it for? The clarification of the goal belongs at the beginning, for it is this which will determine the outcome. This is reversed by my separate self's procedure. the situation becomes the determiner of the outcome, which can be anything. The reason for this disorganized approach is evident. My belief in separation does not know what outcome it wants from the situation. It is aware of what it does not want, but only that. It has no positive goal whatsoever. So that says it all, really, doesn't it? It's saying that the ego in any situation is uncertain.
Mm.
So it's saying, very simply, what do you want to come from this, and what is its purpose?
Mm. So the ego is always resisting. Have you noticed that? It's always saying, I don't. It focuses much more on what it doesn't want.
It's true, yes.
So even if you're desiring something, you might say, okay, well, what happens if you really want an egoic goal? You want to buy something, you want to achieve something. But a large part of that desire is counteracted by fear. The more I want it, the more I fear I won't get it. So my fear is, oh, but what if I don't get that? So he's saying it has no positive goal whatsoever. So even those illusory desires and fears, there's no genuine positive goal there. Like by positive goal, it means something that is positive, that is life affirming, that's true. All of the ego's goals are by definition negative. They negate life because they're coming from the belief that life is not true. Eternal life is denied by the ego. So what can you expect? Which is why all of its desires, all of its goals are fundamentally flawed. He's just asking us to recognize that. So when people talk about goal setting in ego terms, refer them to this: setting the goal. Section 6 of chapter 17. Just go read that, and gives you a whole different perspective on ego-based goal setting, doesn't it? All right, so let's go on then to number 3. Without a clear-cut positive goal.
Without a clear-cut positive goal set at the outset, the situation just seems to happen and makes no sense until it has already happened.
Without a clear-cut positive goal set at the outset, the situation just seems to happen and makes no sense until it has already happened.
Then you look back at it and try to piece together what it must have meant.
Then I look back at it and try to piece together what it must have meant.
And you will be wrong.
And I will be wrong.
Not only is your judgment in the past, but you have no idea what should happen.
Not only is my judgment in the past, but I have no idea what should happen. I don't know whether we should change that. And not only is my judgment based on the past, that's probably better, isn't it? Not only is my judgment based on the past, but I have no idea. So, yes, I'm basing it on my past experiences, but I have no idea what should really happen. Okay, number 5, no goal.
No goal was set with which to bring the means in line.
I did not set any goal with which to bring the means in line. The means in line with, no goal was set with which to bring the means in line. To bring the means in line with. with which to bring the means in line. Yeah, that's okay. And now the only judgment.
And now the only judgment left to make is whether or not the ego likes it. Is it acceptable, or does it call for vengeance?
And now the only judgment left for me to make is whether or not my separate self likes it. Is it acceptable, or does it call for vengeance?
The absence of a criterion for outcome set in advance makes understanding doubtful and evaluation impossible.
Let's say what I want. The absence of a criterion for outcome set in advance makes my understanding doubtful and proper evaluation of the situation impossible.
Without a clear-cut positive goal set at the outset, the situation just seems to happen and makes no sense until it has already happened. Then I look back at it and try to piece together what I must have meant, but I will be wrong. Not only is my judgment based on the past, but I have no idea what should really happen. I did not set any goal with which to bring the means in line, and now the only judgment left for me to make is whether or not my separate self likes it. Is it acceptable, or does it call for vengeance? The absence of criteria for an outcome set in advance makes me understand doubtful and proper evaluation of this situation impossible.
Okay, so summary of that, what's he saying?
Was just saying there's no clear-cut positive goal set in the outset, which makes the situation happen and then makes no sense until it does happen. So then you look back and try to piece it all together, and it'll be wrong. It's saying it'll be wrong. So the saying about your judgment is based on the past. So you just have no idea, really.
Yeah, already saying we're clueless in the ego's judgment without a proper criteria for evaluation. It's all a bit scattered and confused.
It is.
And our understanding of any situation is very doubtful. Evaluation of situation, proper evaluation of situation, impossible. Proper evaluation, so set in advance makes my understanding doubtful and proper evaluation of situation impossible. So really confused. You think of, the ego as wants to be our guide in life, guiding us in all of our judgments and our decisions, and yet it really doesn't know what it's doing. He's saying to us, is this the guide that you want to choose? A guide that's confused, doesn't really know what it's doing, that may seem to, but you notice whenever you prick the ego's bubble, all of that confidence and that arrogance and that bluster, that pompous self-righteousness, just, it can just be popped quite easily if you really question it and look at it, because it doesn't stand up to really, logical, rational scrutiny. So it's why, Yeshua was such a devastating opponent in a debate, because he would go head to head with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and they could not defeat him in his arguments. There was no one, because he's just like, right, let's just look at the truth. Let's just look at it logically. Let's pop the bubble of your ego logic and show that your understanding, you're really actually confused, and your whole teaching and philosophy is confused based on. Of course, they didn't like that at all. because they were being shown up to be pompous idiots, essentially. No one likes that. The ego is not going to be very happy. And so, we know the outcome of that. But really, he was just highlighting the ridiculousness of the egoic thought system and all of the judgments that it makes, and calling it into question, saying, we really need to look on it honestly and decide that we don't want to listen to this guidance. All of this is really for one simple purpose: to help us let go of our belief that the ego can offer us anything, that it is a worthy counselor, guide, judge in any situation. He's really pulling it apart and asking us to look at it honestly, which is why I appreciate the text. He goes into this into the subtleties and the nuances of this. In this case, he's talking about purpose and goals, and going at the ego from that perspective. But whichever perspective you look at it from, he shows you the dysfunction of the system of thought in which you believe, and then obviously you're going to question it and ultimately let it go and say, well, how can I believe something that really is clueless? Is this a worthy guide for my life? The answer is clearly, once you've done the full course, he wants to convince you that it's really not. This is not something you should be choosing at all. You should let it go entirely and accept the Holy Spirit as your only guide in life, a completely new thought system. But to do that, you've got to question the old one first. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Okay. Happy to go on to number 4, the value of deciding in advance.
Yeah. The value of deciding in advance what you want to happen is simple, that you will perceive the situation as means to make it happen.
The value of deciding in advance what I want to happen is simply that I will perceive the situation as a means to make it happen.
You will therefore make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of your objective and concentrate on everything that helps you meet it.
Therefore, I will make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of my objective and concentrate on everything that helps me meet it.
It is quite noticeable that this approach has brought you closer to the Holy Spirit's sorting out of truth and falsity.
Let's make that obvious. It's quite obvious that this approach has brought me closer to the remembrance of perfect love's sorting out of truth, so, or abundance, and falsity, or illusion, falsity, or scarcity. Okay, number 4.
The true becomes what can be used to meet the goal.
The true becomes what can be used to meet the goal.
The false becomes the useless from this point of view.
The false becomes useless from this point of view.
The situation now has meaning, but only because the goal has made it meaningful.
The situation now has meaning, but only because the goal has made it meaningful.
Yeah. The value of deciding in advance what I want to happen is simply that I will perceive this situation as a means to make it happen. Therefore, I will make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment of my objective and concentrate on everything that helps me meet it. It's quite obvious that this approach has brought me closer to the remembrance of perfect love. sorting out of truth or abundance and falsity or scarcity. The true becomes what I can use to meet the goal. The false becomes useless to me from this point of view. The situation now has meaning, but only because the goal has made it meaningful.
Okay, summary of that. What's he saying?
So deciding in advance what I want to happen is simply what I will perceive the situation as it means to make it happen. So therefore I'll make every effort to overlook what interferes with the accomplishment.
Yeah, so as an example, so let's say your wedding experience. You go in with an expectation, oh, the wedding's gonna be amazing, everything's gonna be nice, everyone's gonna be lovely. And you go in there with that expectation. This should be a really nice day out. And then of course it's not. You sit next to your brother-in-law who's difficult and crude, and various situations happen, your shoe breaks and so on. And from that purpose of, oh, I expected it all to be lovely, you're gonna be disappointed. It's not going
Right.
to be a very nice experience.
Mm.
Oh, that was just a terrible wedding, awful. I've come all the way from Tenerife, and what a waste, and so on. But if you set the goal up front, okay, so my only job here is to remain true to the truth, to listen to the Holy Spirit's guidance, and to let go of whatever comes up to make me uncomfortable, trigger me, anything negative, and that's my purpose. So, it's a forgiveness
Yeah,
opportunity.
a good
You've
example.
set that up front, then you will see that the situation is only meant for that. That's all it's for. It's not to have a good time and all these ego illusions. It's only for your awakening. That's what the situation's for.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah. So that, and that applies to anything. Yeah, so you go into any experience situation with the Holy Spirit as your guide. You say, okay, my only job here is to let go of whatever comes up. I don't know exactly how it's going to pan out and what's going to come up, but any situation, any encounter, my only job is awakening. So I'm just going to let go, and I'm going to trust that the Holy Spirit will guide. It's now I've given the purpose up front. The situation's been dedicated to that purpose, and it's going to unfold accordingly because I've given it a proper purpose and a proper goal. And from that perspective, the false goal becomes useless, it's pointless, meaningless. Oh, I thought my goal was to just go and have a good time and get drunk at the wedding. No, that's not the goal. The goal is to use it for your awakening.
Yeah.
So the false just becomes meaningless and pointless, and that has to be discarded in order to embrace the true purpose. And you saw that. So there you're going with awakening as your primary function, and you look at other people who are going with the ego guiding them, and you're going, I don't get it. I don't connect. I don't resonate, because they're using the situation for the ego's purpose, which is, I need to have a good time and be loud and brash and drink too much, and that's the ego's purpose that it's given it. And for you, it's got a completely different purpose. And so, of course, you perceive everything differently and you behave differently, and you're going to have a very different experience at wedding compared with someone who's given it another purpose. As you saw demonstrated, you and your brother-in-law had completely different mindset, completely different purpose given to the same situation, and therefore completely different perspectives and perceptions of the situation and experiences as a result. Your experience would have been very different from his based on the purpose that you gave it up front. Now, your purpose was conscious. You probably went in there going, okay, probably reminded yourself, my only job is to stay in the Holy Spirit, to let go if I need to. He would have gone, hey, it's party time.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Yes, he did.
This is my purpose, to have a good time and let the alcohol flow and, be a bit of a lad. And
have a
that's
laugh
the
at
purpose he gave.
everybody's expense.
Yeah, exactly. Drink as much as I can and be as loud as I possibly can, and throw back to my 20s and become a sort of 20-something laddish guy. And even though I'm in my 50s or 60s, that's his purpose.
Yeah.
And then you see, of course, the behavior matches the purpose, and his experience matches the purpose that he's given it in his mind. And obviously that's at odds with the Holy Spirit's purpose. The two can't reconcile. You can't do both. It's one or the other. So there you see, practical example how this plays out. Now we should say, well, that's obviously it's common sense, surely, but it's not common sense because most people don't go into new situations. Okay, so what's my purpose here up front? What's my only function here? What's my purpose? Most people don't do that. They rely on the situation to give them the purpose. Oh, it's a wedding. Oh, okay. Hey, wedding means party time. So you see, not, okay, I'm going to consciously decide that this is my purpose, irrespective of the occasion. So it's very outside driven, outside in rather than inside out. His mental and emotional state is dictated by the situation, not by his choice of purpose. So if he'd gone to a funeral, he wouldn't have behaved that way because it wouldn't have been appropriate.
No.
Except it was a wake, maybe, Irish wake. Oh, hey, then I got a chance. Then I got an excuse to get drunk. Great. I'll take that. Yeah, but otherwise, I've got to be sober, but whereas the enlightened awakening person will go, well, my purpose is the same. Whether it's a wedding, whether it's a funeral, it's the same. My purpose is to let go and find the peace of God beyond these very temporary, transient thoughts and emotions that might be stimulated by this particular function experience. Okay, so happy with that?
Yeah, no, that's well explained.
Do you see how, again, this course becomes really useful when you apply it in particular situations, specific situations. If you don't give it a context and give it examples like I've just done, you can see how people could read this and go, okay, it all sounds really, interesting, intellectual, theoretical. Maybe I kind of get it on some theoretical, intellectual level, but how do I even apply this? You've got to learn to take this down to the practical, to your life experiences, and say, okay, so how does this apply? And it, as we've seen, it applies absolutely. You just had a wedding experience today. Okay, now here you got a lesson that helps you explain it and understand it better.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 5. Let's go into that, shall we? The goal of truth.
Yeah. The goal of truth has further practical advantages.
The goal of truth has, let me actually make that abundance. The goal of truth or abundance. Or goal of truth or abundance has further practical advantages.
Oops. Sorry, Dave's just fallen over. 2 seconds.
Oh dear, okay.
Do tests.
Yeah, no problem. I'll go get some tea. Okay, then let me know when you're back.
Yeah, sorry, it was just a little moment there. Dave's got blood coming out of his thing there. Sorry, but it's nothing serious. It's just he's gashed himself. That's fine. Yeah, so and all of a sudden the dog needs to go out. So it was just a moment there. Right. So I can let that go and return to this.
All right, no problem.
Yeah.
So the goal of truth is further practical advantage. I think you're on number 2. If the situation is used for truth and sanity,
If the situation is used for truth and sanity, its outcomes must be peace.
I'm sorry, but he refuses.
if the situation is used for truth and sanity, its outcome must be peace.
Right.
Let's go up.
Well, it's quite apart from the outcome, what the outcome is.
And this is quite apart from what the outcome is on the level of form. Putting the level of form just to clarify that. We're talking about the level form outcome. Okay, number 4.
Number 4, yeah. If peace is the condition of truth and sanity and cannot be without them, where peace is, then peace is, they must be.
If peace is the consequence of truth, let's put abundance in there, truth or abundance and sanity, and cannot exist without them, they must be where peace is experienced. Number 5.
Yeah. Truth comes of itself.
It must be where peace is experienced. Oh, there we go. Truth. Let's just that. Truth or abundance has no cause and arises from itself.
If you experience peace, it is because the truth has come to you and you will see the outcome truly, or deception cannot prevail against you.
If I experience peace, it is because the truth or abundance has come into my awareness. And so I'll perceive the outcome truly, for deception cannot prevail against me.
If you experience peace, it is because the truth has come to you and you will see the outcome truly, or deception cannot.
Yeah, we've just read that, huh?
Oh,
Number 7.
yeah, sorry, that's just got diverted there. You will recognize the outcome. Oh, thanks. You will recognize the outcome because you are at peace.
He refuses to come.
I will recognize the outcome because I am at peace.
You will. Oh, because you're, yeah.
Number 8,
yeah. Here again, you see the opposite of the ego's way of looking. For the ego believes the situation brings the experience.
Here again, I perceive the opposite of my separate self's way of perceiving. For my separate self believes the situation brings the experience. Outside in other words, rather than inside out. Whereas it's your determination of your purpose brings the have I missed one? 8. 7, right? Double counted. Right, 8. Get the numbering right. Right. So number 9.
The Holy Spirit knows that the situation is as the goal determines it and is experienced according to the goal.
Remembrance of perfect love or abundance knows that the situation unfolds as the goal I have set for it, determines it, and that I will experience it based on the framework of this goal. Okay, from the top.
The goal of truth or abundance has further practical advantages. If the situation is used
From the
for
top,
truth,
Elaine.
yeah, okay, yes, the goal.
Okay, Elaine, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, from the top, yeah. The
Can you
goal
hear
of
me?
truth.
Yeah, the
The
goal
goal
of
of truth or abundance.
yeah, the goal of truth or abundance has further practical advantages. If the situation is used for truth and sanity, its outcome must be peace. And this is quite apart from what the outcome is on the level of form. If peace is the consequence of truth or abundance and sanity and cannot exist without them, they must be where peace is experienced. Truth or abundance has no cause and arises from itself. If I experience peace, it is because the truth of abundance has come into my awareness, and so I will perceive the outcome truly, for deception cannot prevail against me. I will recognize the outcome because I am at peace. Here again, I perceive the opposite of my separate self's way of perceiving, for my separate self believes the situation brings the experience. The remembrance of perfect love or abundance knows that the situation will unfold as the goal I have set for it determines it, and that I will experience it based on the framework of this goal. So it's just talking about the goal of truth.
Yeah, which is the same as abundance. It's just truth, love, abundance. It's all the same thing. When we decide up front that whatever happens, this is our purpose. We will hold to the truth. We will hold to abundance. We will hold to love. Then that is going to very much influence your perception of every situation. And that's what he's saying. Your mind, the purpose you give every situation in advance determines your experience of the situation. So the situation will unfold as the goal I've set for it determines it, that I'll experience it based on the framework of this goal. So again, take the wedding as an example. You see how that played out. You went in with the Holy Spirit as your guide because this is the way you live your life. So okay, my only job is to stay awake, to let go, to let the guide, and you were tested, and you responded accordingly based on the goal that you'd set up front for the experience.
Yeah.
Whereas if you hadn't had that goal and that purpose, you might have reacted very differently.
Well, yes.
Quite possibly, almost. Of course, you would have. I think 20 years ago, before you were a course student, how you might have reacted.
Yes, of course, you'd have been much more reactive and upset. Yes.
More reactive. Maybe you would have gone, oh, this is just a shit show. So I'll just drink myself into oblivion. I might as well have a few glasses and try and enjoy it. Different purpose that you give to the whole experience, and you give yourself a very different experience as a result. And so what he's saying here is that your experiences are not based on the situation. They're based on the goal that you set, the purpose that you give to the situation. And that goal applies to all situations.
And the goal is purely any situation. is to awaken with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, that's all the situation is for. It's for your awakening. It's happening for that and for nothing else. So all of those ego goals drop away then, and you go, well, my only purpose here is to awaken, and I do that by letting go.
Yeah.
A very, very different perspective and an experience that you're going to have compared with other people. So if you compare your experience today of the wedding to your brother-in-law's, for instance, or someone else who's got an egoic purpose, very, very different experiences as would have had of the same situation. So you can't say then that the situation is determining your experience. No, it's the mindset, it's the purpose you give the experience that determines it. You're going to experience it in a different way from someone else who's got a different purpose for it. Well, it should be obvious. I mean, he's just stating what should be obvious, but it's not obvious to most people. How many people know that, okay, this experience that I have is not dictated by the situation, it's dictated by the choice I make about its purpose. And I do that up front. How many people know that?
Well, very few. I mean,
Exactly.
as it turns out, though, most of them looked very jolly, dancing and what have you. So the purpose they gave it was to have a good time. And generally,
Yeah.
it did go well. So it's not like it ended up like some weddings where there's brawls and fights and blah, blah, blah. But this one,
Yeah.
the goal was to have a great time. And
Yeah.
again,
But
like most, yeah,
did it serve their awakening? You know, did
no,
most people go, the wedding is for my awakening? No, probably you were the only person there who thought that. Most people don't like, what are you talking about? A wedding's for awakening? No, a wedding's just to go and celebrate and have a good time and have a party, and that's its purpose. And so they only perceive it through that lens, and maybe they do have a good time, but of course then it's very temporary. The good time's gone. Maybe they've got a bit of a hangover the next day, and then like, oh, okay, I'm actually feeling a bit low the next day because I had such a good time yesterday. Whereas if your purpose is awakening, it's going to be different. It's not a temporary fix. It's not a temporary good time to alleviate, all of that monkey mind stuff. This is why most people like parties and weddings and occasions, and they serve that purpose. They're an excuse to go out of your normal state of consciousness and enter another one. And socially acceptable, quite acceptable, a wedding to drink copious amounts of alcohol. So great, I have full license to do that, and no one's going to judge me because everyone's doing it. Great, I can now obliterate my monkey mind with copious amounts of alcohol and dancing, and I can get out of the pain of that mind temporarily for a few hours. And I'm allowed to do that, and so that's what most people do. That's a temporary relief from the burden of the ego. But of course, it comes back usually stronger the next day. If you've got a hangover,
with a hangover, and
and then you're like, oh god, now I'm paying for it. Now my next day, I'm feeling really low. Felt really good yesterday, and liberated, and it was all cool. And now today, I'm like feeling quite low and down, and a bit depressed, and thinking about I've got to go back to work, and so on. Oh, okay. And so there's the ups and the downs of the ego journey. But if you give it its true purpose of awakening, then you're not going to do that. Your next day isn't going to be a downer. Maybe you didn't have as amazing a time. You didn't go into the party mode and get all excited and so on. But then you're not going to have the downer on the other side of that either. It's much more sort of equanimous, smooth. Instead of the roller coaster ride that most people are on, it's okay. I'm just calm. I'm peaceful. I'm smooth. I'm quiet. Yes, so I don't get majorly excited and hey, party, 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 and I don't do that anymore because I know that there's a consequence to that. If I do that, then on the downside of that up, of that high, there's going to be a low, and then I'm going to suffer the low. So rather the equanimity of just being stable, being awake, being aware, giving it its true purpose. And then you can enjoy every experience, and there's no downside. The next day can be as enjoyable as the wedding was because it's not situation dependent. okay, so today, tomorrow you're doing something else. You're moving, going to the house, and that's going to have its own set of challenges as well.
It's a hotel I'm going to tomorrow, so
Hotel, yeah.
the
So
people
if
there,
you're moving and there's travel, and then that has its own set of challenges. And again, your only purpose is, well, this is for my awakening. That's
yeah.
it.
Mm.
So
Yes.
now you have one purpose applied to all situations. That's going to keep you much calmer and more stable, isn't it?
It is. It
Your
is.
purpose is not situation dependent anymore. Whereas for most people it is. My purpose in a wedding is different from my purpose at a funeral, is different from my purpose at work, it's different from my purpose when I'm at home, or I'm watching TV, or I'm at the pub, or I'm playing sport, or whatever. I give everything as these different purposes, and so they have often multiple personalities depending on what the occasion is. Have you noticed that?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, different occasions. Yes.
Yeah, because their purpose is dictated by the occasion, not by themselves, not by a decision. Whereas the enlightened awakening people they have one singular purpose for everything across the board. And so there's a consistency across the board. They're not changing depending on the situation. Right? There's just this constant being, the presence of truth and being is in them, and that carries through all situations, irrespective of what the situation happens to be. So whether it's a happy party occasion, or whether it's a funeral, or whether it's just a normal daily life experience, you're going to a hotel, you're traveling, it's all the same.
Mm.
You stay calm, you stay peaceful, you stay equanimous. And people who are addicted to the ego will say, well, that's a bit boring, because they want the ups and the downs. They want the variation of experience, but the downside of that approach is you're going to have suffering. You're going to have times where it's down and times where it's up.
Mm.
Whereas with the equanimous approach, everything can actually be peaceful and happy. Everything. Maybe you don't have these massive highs and huge parties, but then the downside of that is you're going to suffer because of it. The come down from that is going to be quite noticeable. And the next day you're not going to be particularly happy. Just ask anyone who's overdone it at a party,
Well, yes,
and
it
they'll
got
tell you,
tired
oh,
and exhausted. Yes.
wake up with a hangover. And it's like, oh, now my body's in recovery mode. I'm trying to process all the toxins, and I haven't had enough sleep, and I'm dehydrated because of the alcohol, and I'm feeling really, really quite low and bad. So,
Mm.
now I've got to tolerate that for at least a day, maybe two, sometimes
Yeah.
three, depending on,
Yeah.
how much they overdid it. So was it worth it? Was a
For a
few
few hours.
hours of party, was it worth 2 or 3 days of feeling low? Not really, if you're honest about it.
No, well, not in my books.
No, well, if you dedicate your life to truth, then you can see that that's a losing game.
Mm.
The ego is making you, if you listen to the ego, it's always going to make you lose your peace of mind, your happiness, your joy. It's always a losing equation with the ego.
Mm.
Whatever it gives, oh yeah, party, I'll give you a great time. It's going to take away on the downside of that, and more. You'll suffer more than you gain.
Mm.
That's how the ego works. It's always the price is too high. So once you see this clearly, you just go, well, that's just a stupid game to play. Like, why would I do that? I remember, like, I only got mindlessly drunk once in my whole life, and after that, I was like, that was the most stupid thing I could have done. Like, I'm glad I did it, because, like,
Mm.
it was an experience. Like, okay, but like, I wasn't conscious. Like, it was literally like that was it. My evening was over in about half an hour, and I don't remember any of it. And I felt like death the next day, and I spent a whole lot of money on alcohol. Like, what was the point?
Yeah, it's
And I
true.
just felt
True.
terrible.
We've all done it. Yes.
So fortunately, one experience like that was enough for me. I was like, that was just stupid. Like, I don't get it. Like, I thought it was going to be great and amazing, and actually, it wasn't. It was really just stupid, and I felt, awful the next day.
Mm.
And so I decided not to do it again.
Mm.
Not to that extent. And then a few years later, I just quit drinking entirely. But it was like, you got to question it. But a lot of people don't. They do it and they go, okay, no, it was terrible, but I'll do it again the next weekend. I was like,
Yeah.
well, why are you doing it again when it wasn't a good experience the first time? Like, duh.
Well, they
Just
want the high, don't they? They want the high
well, it
again.
wasn't even a high. I just passed out. Like
Oh, like yeah,
where was the high?
you were
There
you
was
were
no high. Maybe that was a very good experience because it was like, spirits. Like I downed a quarter of a bottle of tequila and I
yeah.
just passed out because I wasn't used to, that
That amount.
serious amount of alcohol. But it was probably a really good learning experience because I'm like, well, okay, so you actually didn't have an evening. It was supposed to be like a celebration at the end of first year university,
Mm.
and it lasted all of about half an hour, and I can't remember the rest of
The
it.
way that
And
was
I
lucky
spent
for
all
you.
this money on alcohol, and then like the next day I felt terrible. It was horrible,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
had to move. It was like I have to pack up and move, and I got this splitting headache, feel like death. I'm like, oh, what did I? This was just the most stupid thing
well, yeah, you were
ever have done.
fortunate. You probably well, some people get a high though, don't they? And so they want that high again.
Yeah, well, it
It's a
definitely
bit of a
wasn't a
roller
high.
coaster.
It was just a low.
Yeah. So you were lucky. Was it then
Yeah,
again?
well, and also I suppose when you're a little bit more sort of on that path of awakening, you question it. You have to go, well, okay, so I've had that experience. It's supposed to be really good, and was it honestly? No, it's not
Mm.
really not all it's cracked up to be.
No. No.
So no, I'm not going to do that again. I mean, I did consume alcohol, and I did have a couple of occasions where I got drunk, but not like that. That was
No.
just stupid. That was just like ridiculous. I just passed out.
Yeah.
These are the learning experience where you really start to question the ego's thought system and hopefully let it go and say, this just doesn't work. There's
Mm.
got to be a better way, and that's what he's guiding us to do here. All right. So, did you read the alternative again? You did, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So remember, the summary of that really is: so remember, the perfect love of abundance knows the situation will unfold as the goal I've set for it determines it, and that I'll experience it based on the framework of this goal. Okay, so it's gonna unfold based on my purpose for it. So you see how this gives you an internal locus of control
Mm.
because the situation isn't just happening to me and my experience is based on the situation. My experience is based on the choice I make about the purpose of the situation. So now I'm in control of my experience based on my conscious choice. So I'm no longer a victim of any situation. I'm consciously choosing what my experience should be. And that's huge. That puts you in charge, in control of your life. You can be in control. You can choose that you give everything. Okay? Happy
Yeah.
to go on to number 6.
Yes. Yeah. The goal of truth requires faith.
The goal of truth or abundance requires faith.
Faith is implicit in the acceptance of the Holy Spirit's purpose, and this faith is all inclusive.
Faith is implicit in the acceptance of the remembrance of perfect love's purpose. And this faith is all inclusive.
Where the goal of truth is set, their faith must be.
There must be faith where the goal of truth is set. Let's make that active, where I set the goal of truth. Makes it much more active and dynamic now. Must be faith. There must be faith when, maybe not where. There must be faith when I set the goal of truth. I think it would be better that way around, when I set the goal of truth. That's better. Yeah? When I set the goal of truth, I must have faith.
Yeah.
By definition. Can't set the goal of truth and not have faith in the truth. Otherwise, I wouldn't set the goal of truth.
Yeah. The Holy Spirit sees the situation as a whole.
Remembrance of perfect love perceives the situation as a whole.
The goal establishes the fact that everyone involved in it will play his part in its accomplishment.
The goal establishes the fact that everyone involved in it will play their part in its accomplishment.
This is inevitable.
This is inevitable.
No one will fail in anything.
I cannot ever fail.
This seems to ask for faith beyond you and beyond what you can give.
This seems to ask for faith beyond me in what I can now manage.
Yet this is so only from the viewpoint of the ego, for the ego believes in solving conflict through fragmentation and does not perceive the situation as a whole.
Yet this is true only from the viewpoint of my separate self that believes in separation. The belief in separation believes in, quote, solving conflict through fragmentation and does not perceive any situation as a whole.
Therefore, it seeks to split off segments of the situation and deal with them separately, for it has faith in separation and not in wholeness.
Therefore, it seeks to split off segments of the situation and deal with them separately, for it has faith in separation rather than wholeness. Rather than. Okay. So from the top, number 6.
The goal of truth or abundance requires faith. Faith is implicit in the acceptance of the remembrance of perfect love's purpose, and this faith is all-inclusive. When I set the goal of truth, I must have faith. The remembrance of perfect love perceives the situation as a whole. The goal establishes the fact that everyone involved in it will play their part in its accomplishment. This is inevitable. I cannot ever fail. This seems to ask for faith beyond me and what I can now manage. Yet this is true only from the viewpoint of my separate self that believes in separation, or the belief in separation believes in solving conflict through fragmentation and does not perceive any situation as whole. Just have to bring that up a bit. Yeah. Therefore, it seeks to split off segments of the situation and deal with them separately, for it has faith in separation rather than wholeness.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's he saying there?
Well, it's just talking about the separate self not having faith and everything's done separately and in segments. But it's vital to have faith for the remembrance of perfect love's purpose because it's all-inclusive. It's looking at the whole rather than the segments of the situation.
So, take for example, we talked about the medical industry before. How do they solve a problem? It's a medical problem. Someone comes in, okay, I've got a kidney problem. They split off And they say, okay, well, you've got a kidney problem, so go see a kidney specialist. And the kidney specialist diagnoses, and they say, okay, we can see there's a problem with your kidney. You've got kidney stones. They said, okay, we'll treat the kidney stones. We'll use a laser or something, or we'll operate whatever the treatment is. But it hasn't looked at the whole situation. It said, okay, so why have you got kidney stones? What are you doing that's caused you to get kidney stones? Maybe we need to look at the whole package, your whole life. How are you thinking? What are your lifestyle habits? Because there's a reason why you've got this, and this will recur if we don't fix the problem. So this is what holistic or functional medicine is about, saying like, let's look at the whole picture, not just the kidney that happens to have the kidney stones. That is a symptom of a bigger systemic problem that's showing up in that specific organ. But to focus only on that organ is to miss the picture, it's to miss the big picture, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good example of it. And this kind of segmented, fragmented, separative thinking is what characterizes the ego and our modern society. We've got specialists in this and specialists in this, but how many people see the whole picture and go, it's all connected, it's all interconnected. So, if you got to look at the whole problem holistically, and you've got to see that it's all coming ultimately from the mind. So this would be looking at it from an integral perspective. If we want to look at the integral model, let's see, and there we go. Just putting that up. We've seen this before, but integral model says you've got these 4 quadrants, and if you focus only on 1 or 2 quadrants, you're missing the bigger picture. You've got to look at all aspects. So, for instance, you focus just on the kidney, an example I gave you. You're focusing on the objective. Okay, so there's a problem with the kidney. We go to a kidney specialist. We treat the problem as we observe it. But you don't look at the subjective. Okay, so what thoughts, what emotions, what states of mind created this? What's going on in that patient's mind that has caused the kidney stones? Because that would be an integral, holistic approach. And the ego can't do that because it moves you towards wholeness. It moves you out of just focusing on the body and the material into acknowledging that there's something else. There's the mind. And remember, the ego doesn't want you to know that there's a mind, because if you have a mind, you can change it. Its biggest defense of against the truth is to say, well, you're a body and you don't have a mind. You're actually mindless. And so you can't actually change your mind because you don't even have one. You're a body. And that's why it's invented thought systems like scientific materialism and so on that really focus on the objective, on the material, on the body, and say you're a body, to the point where they say, your consciousness is a product of the body. Consciousness is a product of your brain function, and you wouldn't be conscious if you didn't have a body and a brain. But that's simply not true, because consciousness clearly transcends the body. People have had near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, and so on, where they weren't in a body. And the brain was dead. In a near-death experience, the brain is dead. There's no activity in the brain anymore, yet this person has this whole experience. So how do you explain that then? Clearly there must be something that's beyond the body. Okay. So again, let's go back to the text. Happy with that, Selene?
Yes.
Let's go to number 7 then.
Yeah. Confronted with any aspect of the situation that seems to be difficult, the ego will attempt to take this aspect elsewhere and resolve it there.
Confronted with any aspect of the situation that seems to be difficult, the belief in separation will attempt to take this aspect elsewhere and resolve it there.
And it will seem to be successful, except that this attempt conflicts with unity and must obscure the goal of truth.
And it will seem to be successful, except that this attempt conflicts with unity and must obscure the goal of truth. Or abundance.
Yeah. Any peace will not be experienced except in fantasy.
And then I will not experience peace except in fantasy.
Truth has not come because faith has been denied, being withheld from where it rightfully belonged.
Truth will not have come because I've denied faith and withheld it from where it rightfully belonged.
Thus do you lose the understanding of the situation the goal of truth would bring.
And so I will lose the understanding of the situation the goal of truth would bring.
For fantasy, solutions bring but the illusion of experience, and the illusion of peace is not the condition in which truth can enter.
For magic solutions bring only the illusion of experience, and truth can never enter into the illusion of peace.
Look on the top. Confronted with any aspect of the situation that seems to be difficult, the belief in separation will attempt to take the aspect elsewhere and resolve it there, and it will seem to be successful, except that this attempt conflicts with unity and must obscure the goal of truth or abundance. And then I will not experience peace except in fantasy. Truth will not have come because I have denied faith and withheld it from where it rightfully belonged. And so I will lose the understanding of the situation the goal of truth or abundance would bring. For magic solutions bring only the illusion of experience, and truth or abundance can never enter into the illusion of peace. So it's just saying about whether you're in a situation that's difficult and you're in the belief in separation, it'll attempt to find resolutions elsewhere, and it can be successful, except it conflicts with the unity, and this is what it obscures the truth and abundance.
So can you think of an example?
Well, when you maybe have, if you're feeling poorly, if you're feeling not too well, whether you've got a headache or whatever, you'll think, oh, I'll have a headache tablet, and that'll, in fantasy, it'll sort of clear it for a while, I think. Would that be an example?
Yeah, it depends on how you perceive it. I mean, if you just go, okay, well, on a level, I'll take a headache pill because I don't want a sore head, but I realize what I'm doing. No problem. But let's take a slightly more serious situation. Let's say you go back to our medical example of someone with a kidney problem.
Mm.
So we keep consistent. So how would it apply in that instance? Let's say you go to a kidney specialist, you've got kidney stones, you have your kidney stones sorted out. I think they laser them now, so they've lasered them, and you go, okay, all good, successful, on we go, but you don't change anything.
No, yeah, well, that's what a lot of people do, don't they?
Yeah. Okay. Happy days again. All right. Now I'm fine. I'm good to go again. And so, I've learned nothing, zero change in my mind, zero change in my lifestyle. And I just carry on doing the same things that led to the kidney stones in the first place. So they haven't really learned anything, haven't grown, just used a magic solution to fix a magic problem. And if it seemed to work temporarily, I'm very happy with that and go, great, that doctor was amazing, just sorted it out, great. Hey, I can carry on partying, carry on drinking, doing whatever, and party, 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 until, you know, there was a warning, until something else happens. And then maybe it's more serious the next time, because they haven't actually taken cognizance of the lesson on a mental, emotional level. You know, these things happen for a reason. There's a spiritual lesson to be learned. So even a minor thing. I mean, I went to hospital over a year and a half ago, and it was an allergy thing. I'd eaten like peanuts, but I reflected on it and went, okay, so you know, what is this telling me? You know, maybe I need to make some changes because it's a warning sign. So you know, then you learn from it. You don't just brush it off and go, oh, okay, you know, all good. I was just peanut. Okay, well, I won't eat peanuts. I mean, that's obvious. But you know, I really reflected on it, and I made some changes in my lifestyle habits, and so on. Started doing intermittent fasting, lost some weight. You know, these things are then okay. I learned something from the experience rather than just dismissed it. Okay, I got a magic solution, so now I'm all fine. No, you know, it was a little warning sign, and you meant to pay attention to these and learn from these experiences. That's really what he's saying. If you just go for a magic solution, you're not going to learn anything, and you're not actually awakening. You're not using the experience for what it's meant for, which is to serve your awakening. It just actually reinforces your ego's belief that you're a body. Okay, so you had a successful operation, your kidneys are now okay. All right, happy days, you know, like great, medical science is wonderful, and you know, off I go on my merry way, maybe for a few years, but you haven't really learned anything. You didn't learn that you're not a body, you're a mind. You didn't learn anything deeper about yourself. Didn't make any fundamental changes. So nothing's really been learned. Nothing's really been gained from the experience. So yeah, quite a interesting, and I mean these sections are all profound. You know, you take this on board. What is he really saying in summary? Well, let's go through the summary and just recap it. Summary and key message.
Yeah,
Close
okay.
this out.
In any situation where I'm uncertain, I first need to consider what I want to come of it and what it is for. Clarifying my goal from the start is crucial as it determines the outcome of the situation. My separate self makes the situation the determinant of the outcome, which is confusing since lacking a positive goal, it only knows what it doesn't want.
Okay, so what's he saying there?
We're just saying about our separate self is uncertain, it doesn't have any goal, it's fragmented, it's confused, it's got no lacking of goal.
Yeah. So we must just be conscious and purposeful about all of our experiences. Okay, so what is the situation for? A very useful little reminder. You know, whenever you're going into a situation, a new experience, particularly something like a wedding, remind yourself, look, what is this situation for? It's for my awakening. That's what it's for. If you remember that, then the outcome of the situation is going to be different. You know, the outcome is simply that I want to learn whatever lessons this presents me with, and I want more peace. That's the outcome that I give it up front. Whereas the ego doesn't really know what its goal is.
It just knows what it doesn't want.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he's saying. I know, I don't want that, and I don't want that. You know, a lot of resistance. I was chatting to some ladies a few days ago, my landlady and a friend of hers. You know, and it was really very negative. It was just like, no, we don't like this. We don't like this about the country. And I'm like, so where's the positive? I said, well, you know, maybe you can be grateful for what you do have here, because actually, by many standards, especially if you go into third world, I was contrasting with South Africa. There's a
Yeah.
lot to like here. There's a lot of good things
Oh, there
still go
is.
on.
It
You got
depends
to
on which
appreciate
perspective.
that actually it's still a good country, and it still functions pretty well, and people still have a good quality of life, and mostly. But there was no positive goal. It was just like, no, we don't like it. We're not satisfied. So there was a good example. There was no positive goal. It was just like, I don't like what it is. Okay, so what do you like then? What do you want it to be? I want them to fix these problems,
Yeah, it's just ever
but
round and
focus on
circle.
the negative rather than being grateful for what it offers. Okay, so they're sitting outside looking over this beautiful view because, like, I live in a lovely place. There's a farm, it's got
Yes, I've
fields.
seen you.
It
Yeah,
was a nice day. We're sitting outside. It's a nice evening, but lovely summer's evening. The weather's warm.
yes,
And
lovely.
all you're doing is focusing on the negative, on like how terrible the country is. Oh, well, we've paid our taxes for 50 years, and this isn't. It's like, just be present to what's here now.
Yeah,
Can't you be grateful for the fact that you can sit here and enjoy the view on a nice summer's evening and just experience it as it is? Why does all this mind stuff have to come in? So
yeah,
there's again an example of how it works. There was no positive goal. There's just dissatisfaction. Just
mm,
this dissatisfaction that the Buddha noticed. Everyone's just in the dissatisfaction, the dukkha he called it,
mm,
of the ego. And there's no gratitude. There's no real positive goal at all. And I tried to put in a few things. Well, maybe the only problem you have is your expectations. I was like, no,
you'll not
it's not
thank you
my
for
expectation. The situation must change. The government must do something. It's like, well, you're going to be waiting a long time then. Because
yeah,
guess what? You're in your 60s and it's still what it is.
yeah.
It's,
So
you're still dissatisfied.
it can get worse as people get older, of course.
Yeah, those um, perceptions, those attitudes, beliefs become entrenched. You can see over years and years of thinking the same kind of thought. It's just like, no, no, that's the way it is. There's no consideration. Okay, well, maybe there's another way of looking at it. Maybe there's an alternative way that would be better, that would make me happier, that would be more positive, that would actually give me a better quality of life, a better experience of life. Maybe I should be open to that, not for anyone else's sake, for my own sake. Because right now I'm just bitching and moaning about what's negative when actually I've got beauty in front of me, and abundance is here now, and I'm
Yeah.
missing it. So yeah, makes a very good point there. And you see, I use these examples because you see how the ego plays itself out in these situations. And then this course starts to come to life. Then okay, I see how this stuff works and how it applies in these so-called real life situations. Okay, next one. Without a clear goal.
Without a clear goal, situations seem meaningless until they have already happened, leaving me trying to make sense of them, often incorrectly in hindsight. This absence of a predefined outcome makes understanding a proper evaluation of the situation impossible, leaving me to judge all situations based on my separate selves, preferences, or desire for vengeance.
Okay, what's he saying there?
Sorry, yeah, the dog looks as though it's desperate to go to the toilet. Actually, sorry, I've got a moment there, but yeah, it's just while you're in the ego, it's just got no clear goal. Situations tend to be meaningless. So yeah, as you say, with the old example of the ladies in their 60s, that's fairly typical of the ego's goal. It knows what it doesn't want, and that's it, really.
Mm. And then we try and make sense of a world that doesn't make sense from that perspective. And then we're unhappy. We say, well, this doesn't make sense. And, why is the government doing this? They were having a a rant about immigration and like why we're allowing all these people into the country and they're using our taxpayers' money and on and on. So
Yeah.
they're trying to make sense of that situation from the ego's perspective.
Which doesn't make sense.
And it doesn't make sense. It's, the ego is insane and they're judging it incorrectly. They're not seeing the situation correctly. And so the outcome of that is that they're going to be unhappy with the situation. And so they're not really understanding it. There's no proper evaluation of the situation that's possible. And only judging all situations based on my separate self's preferences or desire for vengeance. Interesting. So there was this undercurrent of like, well, actually, we should just get rid of all these people. They just we don't want them in our
I've
country.
heard
And
that many, many times from
yeah,
the older generation. Yes.
yeah, a lack of understanding, empathy, compassion. Just like no, these people don't belong here. We've paid our taxes all our
Yeah,
life, and they
very
don't belong in
self-righteous.
our country. And okay, well, hang on, these are human beings. There's lives. The
Yes.
situation is a lot more complex than just send them all away. That isn't the way. But based on the improper understanding, the ego's understanding, it can't really make any proper judgment of the situation, and what any solutions it comes up with are generally not workable and insane, and designed to cause pain and suffering.
So,
Yeah. No, it's
Just don't.
it's very common. Yeah. In
Yeah.
fact, say on YouTube they do these comedies of the Brits, and that comes up, the moaning, and yeah, and Brits on.
Yeah, and then there was a reflecting back. Oh, but in the 70s it was all much better. We were young,
You hear that a
we
lot.
were footloose and fancy free in London, and everything was simpler and it was really cheap. It's like,
Was it
okay, so
really?
it's just
Yeah. No.
when we were younger, it's this
They all
nostalgia.
say that. Yes, it's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, but no, you're not living in the present, right? That time is gone. And it's an illusion because actually in the 70s, I can guarantee you all was not wonderful. There were challenges as well. And they talked about IRA bombing and stuff. It's like, okay, so the IRA was now trying to bomb London. So you forget about that. Everyone was,
It's
worried
all of a
about
sudden. Yeah.
being bombed. Well, we don't have that anymore. That threat has temporarily gone away anymore. So you forget about, the things that were wrong and you romanticize the past. That's nostalgia. And that's just the ego's tool to try and take you away from the present moment.
Mm.
Okay, so right here, right now, you're sitting on a lovely summer's evening. The weather's lovely,
It is.
and you're enjoying the view. What's wrong? And actually, 50, 60 years ago, it probably would have been a lot colder. It might have been raining in the middle of summer because that's what happened a lot.
Mm.
The weather's actually got better. So why can't you just appreciate what it is? It's meant for your gratitude and your joy right now. That's your awakening right now. That's what life is for.
So did you
Not
actually say this to them, or did you just sort of just let it, go through?
well, I sort of thought, okay, let me not give them Course in Miracles 101 because it's probably not going to be understood.
No,
So
appreciate it.
so I kind of said, well, I'm from South Africa, and actually you have a lot to be grateful for here because you think things are bad here, but it's a lot worse in other places.
Oh God, yeah.
So actually, you live in quite a functional country. Things work quite well, and it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than elsewhere. And I thought that might sort of stimulate. Oh, okay, well, maybe we can be grateful for what we have. Oh, well, I don't know about that. I just know that I'm not happy with this country. That's the answer.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because why? Because the dissatisfaction of the ego is prevalent. The ego has
But
decided that it's going to use the situation for dissatisfaction. It only knows what it doesn't want. There we go. Exactly
mm,
that. It's decided up front that this is what the situation is for, and nothing is going to change its mind. It's hell bent, determined on no, my perception is right. even though, does that perception make you happy? Is it actually going to solve any problems? Is it loving? Is it kind? Is it compassionate? Does it make you feel grateful and joyful for life? No. So then why hold it? Why hold to a perception that makes you miserable?
Mm.
But the ego doesn't see any of this.
They just weren't going to listen.
No, not really.
No.
So no, I departed after about half an hour, came up
Yeah.
to my room and left them to it. And the next night I could have sat out and I'm like, well, what's the point? I know what the conversation is going to be about. So
Yeah. So it's pretty much.
so I just came up and ate on my own because there's no resonance on a deeper level. What else can you discuss there?
But at least you offered the opportunity so that, if.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, I'll be the voice of sanity and truth.
Yeah.
And I'll give another perspective on it, and they can accept that or not. There's always a choice, and they didn't. So okay, well, what can you do? You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So then
Two set in their ways, you see.
well, yeah, that's years and years of habitual thinking.
Yeah, yeah. So it's difficult to sort of reverse it.
So how do you reverse 60 years of
Very difficult, yeah.
nearly 70 years of habitual thinking in a conversation? It's very unlikely to happen. Of course. I had never seen it that way. Oh, wow, that's really interesting. Let's talk about that. Let's explore this alternative perception. They're not going to say that, are they?
No, because they're, as you say, 60 years
Yeah.
habitual is just not going to be done.
Yes, and the ego's convinced them that this is correct and this is right, and it's become part of their self-concept. And of course, they're unaware of this. They don't know that this is actually how the ego's defined them and their self-concept. And they're attached to the perception because it fortifies a false self-concept. None of that is they're consciously aware of at all. Which is why we have to do this kind of mind training. It's why we spend hours and hours going through this text, and because it's about starting to become aware of what's really going on under the surface. And so reading something like this in this depth, okay, I'm starting to understand how the ego works and how it sets a goal for the situation of my unhappiness. As he decided up front that it wants to be unhappy. Is that really something you want to listen to? Is that a guide you want to listen to? Oh, okay. I've decided up front that no matter how the situation turns out, you're going to be unhappy about it. Because that's the ego's goal. Yeah, I mean, when you break it down like that, that's ridiculous. That's insane. No outcome is going to make them happy. Like whatever the government does about the immigration situation, they're not going to be happy because they've already decided in advance that they're not going to be happy about it.
There'll be something else.
Well, precisely. Oh, okay. Well, maybe they've tried to make some, but it hasn't really worked. And, we've still got this issue. We've still got this problem. This is Archie. Speaking of immigration, we have an immigrant into the room. How are you, Archie?
I'm fine, thanks. Sorry, the meeting was a little bit longer.
Oh, that's okay. We're just chatting away. We're just finishing off the text. You came at a good time, actually, because we're just summarizing the text that we did.
Okay.
So let's back it up to there. Just read this again. We've just done paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 of the summary. Read those.
Okay. So in any situation where I am uncertain, I first need to consider what I want the outcome of it to be and what it is for. Clarifying my goal from the start is crucial as it determines the outcome of the situation. My separate self makes the situation the determiner of the outcome, which is confusing, since lacking a positive goal, it only knows what it doesn't want.
Yeah, so we're just using an example. Remember, I think I mentioned to you the kind of conversation with the two ladies over the weekend. Really there was no positive goal. They were just dissatisfied about the immigration situation in the UK, and nothing I could say would change their mind. So they've already just decided up front that this is how they were going to perceive the situation from a point of view of dissatisfaction, expectations not being met, dissatisfied, and really, whichever way the situation plays out in future, they'll still be dissatisfied because that's the goal the ego set for the situation. So no amount of government intervention, whatever the government does about it, they're still going to be dissatisfied because it's not going to give them the answer. So what do you expect? A perfect answer? Like suddenly the situation is going to go away. You're not going to have immigrants coming into the country. I mean, that's clearly ridiculous. That's never going to happen, is it? So basically, you're going to be unhappy for the rest of your life about the situation. That's what you've decided up front as a goal, right? It only knows what it doesn't want. There was no positive, constructive, okay, well, what do we want? You should have actually said to them, okay, so what would your immigration policy be? I think I did actually, sort of on a level. And they said, well, I don't know. Let's just fix it. We don't want people coming in and using our tax money. We taxpayers, we've paid for years and years, and this isn't acceptable. So exactly, what the ego said. What this is saying about the ego, lacking a positive goal of any kind. It really doesn't know what it wants. It only knows that it's not happy. But if it's decided up front that it's going to be unhappy, then it's always going to be unhappy. There's no prospect of any resolution of that dissatisfaction, is there? It's exactly what the Buddha pointed out. Well, you condemn yourself to a life of dissatisfaction because of your mindset. It's not the situation that's the problem. It's your mindset. It's the expectations you have about the situation. Okay, and then number 2, without a clear goal. I'm going to read that.
Without a clear goal, situations seem meaningless until they have already happened, leaving me trying to make sense of them, often incorrectly in hindsight. This absence of a predetermined outcome makes understanding and proper evaluation of the situation impossible, leaving me to judge all situations based on my separate self's preferences or desire for vengeance.
Yeah, and so in that situation, that example, there was separate self, me, other, really no empathy, no understanding, no compassion, and a desire for vengeance. Okay, these people must all just be, just removed from the country. We don't want them. Okay, but this has a negative impact on many people's lives. You break up families. You can't just undo years of immigration policy. It's not that simple. But there's a desire for vengeance underlying that. You see that.
Yeah.
And an attack thought of like, okay, me, as long as I'm okay, I don't really care about these other people because they're not me. See? So separation very much in play. And I use these examples because it's useful to apply the theory to an example so you can see how it plays out in practice.
Yeah.
That's one example. I mean, you can use many, but that's a current one. And whenever I go into the text, that's why I love the text. You end up doing this. I end up going, okay, so there's a current example, and you bring it in, and it's like, oh, okay, now the text comes to life because you're starting to see how it actually works in practice, and how it plays out in so-called real life. Okay, next one, Elaine, if you can read that one. Deciding in advance.
This situation will help me perceive the situation as a means to achieve my goal, allowing me to focus on what aids this objective and disregard what doesn't. This approach aligns with the Remembrance of Perfect Love sorting out of truth and falsity, giving the situation meaning through the lens of my goal. Yeah, so, yeah.
Okay, Elaine, are you busy? Maybe Archie wants to take over. Thoughts about that, Archie? Okay, no one's.
Sorry, I'm just reading it again. Yeah. Deciding what I want to, how you can see the situation is achieve my goal. Yeah, so I'm a bit confused. Deciding in advance what I want to come of this situation, but that's what we don't want to do, is it? Because then that means we've already decided.
No, we want to decide. We want to decide up front that the situation is for my awakening. It's for my peace.
Ah, okay, that's right.
Decision.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Help me perceive the situation as a means to change. It can work negatively as well. You decide, well, what I want from the situation is
Yeah.
a good time, or I want
Okay. Yes.
I want to big my ego up from the situation. Then that's what you're going to use the situation for.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see that whatever I want to come, what I want, what outcome I want. Maybe let me phrase better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the example I use with Elaine's wedding, the people who went there from an ego perspective had a certain outcome in mind. Hey, it's party time. My outcome here is to have a good time, drink some alcohol, and free my mind temporarily from all this static, from all the monkey mind stuff, and just have a good time. And that's what most people would perceive as the outcome of the wedding. But if you go in with the correct outcome, okay, this is for my awakening, and that's all it's for, then you might not have like the party excitement, but you're going to really benefit from that. You're going to use the situations for what they're really for, forgiveness, and you won't have a hangover because you won't overindulge. So you won't have the the high and then the post party low, as we all know. And you wake up and go, oh God, now I've got to spend a day or two recovering from this because I've toxified my body and I'm dehydrated and so on. So your decision in advance determines the experience of the situation.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what he's saying. We need to
that
do.
Makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to just maybe edit the text where it says deciding in advance what outcome
I want
from the situation?
Yeah. Okay. Will help me perceive situations as a means to achieve my goal, allow me to focus on what A is subjective and disregard what doesn't. Right? So it's a perceptual focus. Okay. If my only outcome is peace, then I need to use everything for what it's for, which is letting go of my ego, and that's all it's for. Okay. So now every situation is for that. Okay, great. Something happened. Someone said something wasn't very kind or crude or whatever has happened to Elaine. Okay, it's for my awakening. That's what this is for. So I'm not judging it in any other way.
Yeah.
So from that framework, okay, no problem. Like I can deal with it fine. But if I thought that the outcome was, hey, I should just have a really good time and everyone should be really nice, then I'm going to be disappointed because it wasn't that. Because I've decided up front that my outcome needs to be, hey, it should all just be about a good time. And then, of course, probably there's going to be something that makes it not a good time. And then if you focus on that, you're going to be upset, unhappy about it. And we notice that this is the ego's dissatisfaction all over the world and all over the place, in every situation. Even it was a good time, but it wasn't quite right because this went wrong. If you notice, people do that. They tend to focus on the negative. Yeah, we had a nice holiday, but the food wasn't great, or bed wasn't great, or we had lousy weather for a couple of days, or I got a bit of sunstroke, blah blah.
Yeah. How does this approach though, Jonathan, compare with just going into a situation having no expectations though, and then just being open to what kind of opens up or develops?
But that you've set an intention to have no expectations then, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Okay.
You've said, okay, I'm going in with no expectation then.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So essentially you're saying I'm using this for my awakening.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have expectations. I'm not going to judge egoically. I'm going to let go of all that, which is the same thing as going in and saying, well, it's this situation's for my awakening. six
Yeah.
of one and half a dozen of another. You're doing the same
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Okay.
No expectation approach would be more like an Eastern Buddhist maybe approach. And this approach is more like, okay, I'm going to consciously choose to forgive or use this for my awakening. But essentially, they're the same thing.
Yeah.
You've decided on what the situation means to you, that it's for your letting go. The advantage, I think the advantage of the, okay, it's for my awakening approach is that you're consciously saying, okay, if any difficulties come, I know what it's for. I know that I must let go. See?
Yeah.
Whereas if I go in, okay, I'm not going to judge anything. I don't have any expectations.
Yeah.
If an adversity comes, I might still tend to judge it and go, oh, I said I would have no expectation, but actually, like I do have an expectation. That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think maybe there's a subtle difference there, and this would be the difference between forgiveness and non-attachment in Buddhism versus forgiveness in the Course. The Course focuses more on active. Okay, I'm going to actively choose to let this go, rather than just detach. See? Just don't judge. And it's a subtle, but it's quite a profound difference, because the one is more about awareness, just staying in awareness. And the other is more about saying, okay, I'm going to consciously make a choice based on that awareness.
Yeah.
And that choice is what undoes the ego.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm choosing against the ego by choosing to let go of that thought and emotion about the situation that makes up my ego's perception of it and my identity. And so when I consciously choose to let it go, I am undoing the ego. And that's why I think this is it really superior to Buddhism? But it's more of an active choice. It emphasizes.
I was about to say that actually there's one that's more passive and one that's more active, and this is the more active one.
And this is a more like, okay, I'm making a conscious choice. This is right-minded choice or judgment, as the Course calls it, the right-minded judgment of the Holy Spirit. And some Course teachers don't really emphasize that. Some of them take the more Eastern approach, where they're like, okay, just be aware, and if you're aware and you don't judge anything, then that's forgiveness. Much more sort of Eastern detachment, Buddhist type approach to it. But that isn't actually what the Course says. This is the problem. Okay, so you're going to teach the Course, then teach the Course as he's taught it. He has many passages in the Course about right-minded thinking, right-minded judgment. Talks about the Holy Spirit's judgment on things, which implies that yes, we have a responsibility to make these right-minded choices, rather than just okay, I'm just going to detach and not judge anything. It's a conscious choice to let go, and I think that does make a difference. That subtlety is going to accelerate your journey, because a conscious choice to let go is a conscious choice against the ego. And so you're consciously undoing that ego identity. Whereas if you're just saying, I'm going to stay in detachment and not engaging with this, are you actually undoing the ego as much? And I'm posing the question. I'm not saying that more passive Eastern approach is wrong. I think it definitely has merit, and it can work, but maybe it takes longer. Maybe it's not quite the accelerated path that he's giving us in the Course of Miracles. Because he's saying the Course of Miracles, okay, you're actively going into any situation saying, okay, great, this is a forgiveness lesson. Bring it on. Whatever comes up, great. That's what needs to come up, so that I can really look at my ego and I can let it go. And that's the whole purpose of the situation, is to help me collapse my false self-concept. See, that takes it to a different level, I think.
Could I just mention, when you're talking about people sort of letting them, like I've been on my trip to the wedding, and no doubt there'll be various adventures on the way.
Yeah.
If I just say to everybody, all of it was just fantastic. It was just great. Everything went smoothly. So, but really, you do need to be, how would you put it? Give it as it is as well, but without it sounding like moany groany, if you get what I mean. So, for example, yes, there was parts of the wedding that were very pleasant, and then there was parts that weren't. So, how, if you're now in that sort of awakening mind, how do you relay that to somebody else? So, when this is all finished, I leave back to Tenerife on the 4th of September. How was your trip? Well, you might just sort of like say to most people, "Oh, it was good, thank you." But if you're talking to a friend that wants to know exactly, then how
Well,
would I?
you could use it as an opportunity to spread awakening, to say, well, actually, it was a bit of a mixed bag, and this is what happened. And I sat next to, of all people, my brother-in-law, who I've historically had an issue with, and he was quite crude and so on. But this is how I handled it. I let it go. They were trying to apply David drink, and I just let it go and walked away because I thought it's
Yeah,
pointless trying to control this.
I
And
think
then
it's more.
your friend might go, "Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I
How
think
did you
it's
do
the
that?"
language you use. Yeah, because if I started saying, I allowed the Holy Spirit to come in, I'm in
Yeah, you don't
with
have
the
to. You
Buddhist,
don't
then
have to
I'm going to
use.
start thinking I'm a bit sort of gone on
Yeah,
the
you don't
fairy.
have to use that language. You can just say, "Well, I just decided to let it go because I couldn't control it." And the more that I resisted, and I said,
Yes,
"Don't
if
give
you
him
use the
drink,"
normal
the more that they
language,
were trying to
yes.
give him drink. So it wasn't really working. So I decided just to let it go and walk away. And I went for a walk barefoot in the woods, and I came back, and it was all okay.
Yes, because
Now, if you just communicate in a normal language, your
yes,
friend
yeah,
might
that's
go,
what I'm thinking.
"Oh, that's really interesting. Like maybe I can learn something from that. Oh, wow. Like, how did you do that?" And
Yeah,
then you could say, "Well, I'm on this spiritual path, A Course in Miracles. And it's just really helped me to just learn to use every situation as a letting go opportunity." And they might go, "Wow, that's amazing."
oh yes, yes.
Um,
That's no, that was just you've answered my question there.
yeah,
Yeah, just because when you were saying about your landlady and her friend, when they were
yeah,
just looking at all the things that have gone wrong and that are not right, and it was
yeah,
coming from the ego, but in reality, we go on a journey, and there's various situations that we come across, and some can be a huge challenge,
yeah,
whatever it might be. So, but again,
yeah.
it's not coming across as a moany groany, or
No,
zoom.
you can say, "Yeah, it was a challenge, and I felt, my buttons were pushed, and I wanted to react, but this is how I chose to deal with it. I chose to walk away or let
Yeah,
it
so
go."
that's the difference
And
between your two friends who are zooming in on just purely the negative, as the ego is typical of doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
And then
just
I could have gone, "Oh, well, these people are so unawakened and so unenlightened, and what a waste of time." But I'm like, okay, well, I learned something from the experience, and that experience can be used for awakening as well. And so, then that becomes part of the teaching and the learning.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So it's all good.
yeah,
It wasn't a
good.
waste of time. I'm very glad I had it. And at the time I wasn't with my family, and part of me was like, well, I'd quite like to be with them. But okay, that was the experience that presented itself, and it was all perfect. Everything's always perfect
Yeah,
in every moment for your awakening. Then you can't have grievances. You can't have grudges and grievances and dissatisfaction about life, because it's always perfect for your awakening in every moment. That's
yeah,
what the course is trying to teach
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Whatever's happening. And so that would be the non-judgment. Okay, I have no expectations. It's always
but it's being
perfect for my awakening.
authentic. Yeah, that's the word. Rather than if somebody said, "How was your breakaway in England?" Oh, it was wonderful. It was great. When it's
Yeah,
not really being authentic, is it? If
yeah.
you're
You,
just
you can
going,
tell it as it is, but you can tell it like, this was my experience. I had this experience, and it was sometimes were challenging, but this is how I dealt with them.
yes,
And
yeah.
there's
Well,
a learning that the other person could have from that. Go, "Oh, okay, well, if you dealt with it in that way, maybe I could do the same in situations that I find challenging." Okay, that's
yeah,
interesting. How did you do that, Elaine? Tell me more. And then, that might stimulate them to
yeah. I think it was
go on a
just about
spiritual path and study the
being
course, or maybe not.
yeah,
Maybe they go, "Oh, okay, well, you can do it, but I can't do it." Who knows? They'll perceive it, however, wherever they are, they'll perceive it in that way.
yeah,
But you are giving an opportunity to someone and saying, "Okay, here, I'm presenting another way of living your life, another perception, another thought system. Do you like it or not? Do you want to follow this or not? And if you do, then
yeah,
I'll help you. If you don't, that's fine." And so that's how we spread it, in a very non sort of judgy, non-evangelical way. Like, we're not trying to convert anyone. We're just sharing our experience authentically and saying, "Well, this is this is how I perceived it, and this is how I dealt with it. And someone might say, oh, wow, that's amazing. If they're open, tell me more. Like, how did you do that?
Of course, yeah.
And then, that could be an opening
Clarified. Yeah.
into a whole spiritual path if they're open to it. And if they're not, they'll just go, oh, well, no, I'm not. You just see there's a resonance or there's not. Someone's gonna resonate or they won't. You notice that.
Yeah.
If there's no resonance, then it's pointless pushing the point, because you're pushing a closed door. It's often heavily barricaded from the other side. So it's like, okay, don't. But if the door is slightly open and ajar, then you push it and it's like, oh, okay, the door opens and there's an openness. And then you're like, oh, okay, actually, we can have a conversation here. And there's a resonance. And then those conversations are very interesting, but they don't always come around because not everyone has that open door. All right. So let's carry on. We've got three more paragraphs. The goal of truth. Whose turn is it? I forget.
Probably mine, I think.
Okay,
Yesterday,
go for it.
I read the last one. The goal of truth or abundance offers practical benefits. If used for truth and sanity, any situation leads to peace, independent of the form the outcome takes. Experiencing peace signifies that truth has come to me, allowing me to perceive outcomes truly without self-deception. This contrasts with my separate self's perception of every situation, which falsely believes that situations cause my experiences, whereas the remembrance of perfect love knows situations are shaped by their goals.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah. So if you approach each situation, like we discussed earlier, as a way to awaken, then every situation, it says, leads to peace.
Yeah. As awful as a situation might seem to be, it's for your awakening. There's no exception to that rule.
Yeah.
So then you have a framework to deal with all the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune and not be fazed by them.
Yeah.
Which makes you incredibly robust, resilient person in this world.
Yeah.
And that I think is the benefit of this conscious. Okay, it's kind of saying, this sort of Stoic philosophy. All right, bring it on. Like whatever's seemingly bad, awful, negative, that's what I need to learn. Bring it on. And I'm not scared of that because it is for my awakening. It's for my peace.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I need to learn. And the tougher the lesson, the better. So you become this is what a spiritual warrior means. Not that you're fighting someone else. It's saying, okay, I'm going to take on the ego in every situation, and I'm going to undo it through this mechanism of forgiveness or letting go. And that's what the situation is for. And the more the ego comes at me and the more difficult it is, the better, because this is a great learning opportunity for me to collapse. The harder it is, the more ego you're going to let go of when you learn the lesson. So you become this, spiritual warrior, if you like, if you want to use that term. I don't use that term very much, but essentially you're saying, right, I'm not scared of the ego anymore. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on. You remember that scene in the Matrix, my favorite scene, where Neo's being getting the shit kicked out of him.
Oh yeah, and
He's
then
kicked to the end of the platform, he spits the blood out, and he does some kung fu moves, and he says, "Come." And so that's symbolic of that. Like, okay, I'm not scared anymore. Give me your worst shot, give me your best shot, and I will stand and I will take it. And if it means I die, then so be it. I'm not scared of you anymore. I'm not scared of death anymore, because the ego's it's one of the ego's chief weapons is fear, and the fear of death being the worst thing that can happen. Well, if you're not scared of death, then what power does it have over you?
Yeah.
None. Okay, give me your best shot, because my only goal is awakening to the truth beyond death. So even if I die, if I've awakened in the process, who cares? It's just the body. It's going to die anyway. Awakening is all it's about. And, we saw that decision taken by Yeshua in the crucifixion. It's like, okay, it's like awakening is all it's for. So yeah, I'll go through this, terrible experience and die in the physical body in this horrible way, but it doesn't matter because the situation is for awakening, for not just for my awakening, but for the world's awakening, very, very clearly. So this makes us bulletproof, and this allows us to shape the situations, every situation we experience, based on a predetermined purpose that we give it.
Yeah, it's actually
so now we're in control.
isn't it?
It's inspiring. My locus of control is now internal.
Yeah.
I'm not dictated to by the world, and my experience is not based on what's happening outside. It's based on a decision I make internally. So internal locus of control, we go back to integral model. Our locus of control shifts from being here in the external, the it and the its, to being internal. It's about my mind, my thoughts, my emotions, my state of mind, and I decide on that up front. So whatever happens, I can use it to still be at peace. That's my choice. Now I'm very, very robust. I'm a very psychologically robust, resilient person in the world. And I cannot be used and abused and manipulated, because only the ego does that. When people are attached to the external world and the experience the external world gets them, they're puppets. They can be easily used and manipulated, and we see that in our consumer economy. Oh, okay, feed the Muppets a whole lot of advertising, and they'll behave in a certain way, and they'll go and consume and consume and consume, and largely that works. On unawakened people, that's going to work. But as soon as you awaken, you go, sorry, I don't buy it. Like I'm not a puppet. You can't manipulate me and control me in that way. So this is the antithesis of materialism, consumerism. Awakening counters that. And we spoke about the minimalist movement. That's exactly what they do.
And it's also, I mean, this is what true empowerment and sovereignty means as well, isn't it? This kind of approach.
And the powers that be, the authorities of the world that rule and control the world, do not like it. Because it doesn't suit their agenda. They want you to be a puppet. They want you to be under their control. They want you to buy all the meaningless crap that they want you to buy, and work all your life and get into debt to buy meaningless rubbish you don't even want. And then you get sick at 40 or 50, and then you have to go into their healthcare system, and then they suck all the wealth that you worked so hard to make, and they suck it all out in the last 5 years of your life because you've now got cancer. And that kind of thing happens, unfortunately. But it happens because people allow it to happen. No one is a passive victim in this. They have cooperated with that system. They have allowed that system to control them through their choices. So no one is a victim. They made certain choices, but then allow them. You say, "Oh, poor me." The system used and abused them. No, there was a choice involved in that. They had choice, and they made the wrong choice. I think of my own dad. He gave away responsibility for his health and well-being to the system and to my mother, and then there's just taking all kinds of drugs and vaccines, and then the end of it is becomes like had dementia and became like a vegetable. And I'm like, that's really sad, but that is your choice. You made certain choices along the way not to take responsibility for your own mind, for your own health and well-being, and that is the outcome. So, okay, good lesson, right? I'm not going to go the same route. Not a chance. Take responsibility for your own mind, your own choices. That's what this is saying. So it's truly empowering. This creates awakened, empowered, inspired, and inspiring individuals who will change society. You will say, okay, no, this mindless consumerism. No, I've got to say no to that, because that's not inspiring and empowering. That's not actually helping me or anyone. But serve the real purpose of this world, which is to awaken to who we are. It's in fact contradictory to it, counters that.
Mm.
And so there you see the choice between these two thought systems becomes a choice between two different ways of life, two different systems of living, and they don't reconcile. They don't meet. They're contradictory. It's one or the other. You've got to make a choice.
Yeah.
That's what this is really saying. But the more you study this, the more you're like, well, is the alternative really a choice?
Mm.
Is insanity a choice? Is that something I would consciously choose to
Mm.
go down this path of pain and misery and suffering and death and be used and abused by a system? And is that really something I would consciously choose? No, the answer is you would never consciously choose it if you knew what was going on. So the system has to deceive you and has to say, oh, but we're going to offer you all kinds of goodies and this is going to be good. But it's a lie. It's a deceiver. The whole system is based on this, the lie of the ego that separation works and it's going to offer you something of true value.
Mm.
And it's really not. And I think we've all got to learn that for ourselves. It shouldn't be that hard to learn because you just look at how that system works and you go like, really? Is there anything of any value there? No. Like it's just a bankrupt, broken, spiritually broken system. That it works on some levels, I suppose. So but it's so dysfunctional. Like why would you accept that when you could have miracles and you could have flow and you could have a lovely, guided, happy, peaceful life, and instead of that? I mean, surely it shouldn't be too difficult a decision to make. But it is. He knows it is. So that's why we do the mind training, because he's like, yeah, I know how strong the ego is, and I know the systems that it's set up, and I know it's going to take a lot of vigilance and a lot of discipline, a lot of effort to extract yourself from that system because it seems to be so dominant.
Yeah.
And it's much easier just to go along with that system than to say no to it. And then everyone says, oh, you're a rebel, and you're like, who are you to rock the boat, and et cetera, and then you don't get the social kudos and the acceptance that most people rely on. They think that's love. That's what I need. I need to be accepted by my group, by my tribe, and so they follow the rules. But the enlightened beings of the world don't. They say, no, like I follow God above all else. Right? The ultimate truth. And if that means I have to go against the grain of my society, then so be it. And they become the change agents of the world.
Yeah.
All right, so let's carry on. Next one, the goal of truth requires faith. Elaine, if you can read that.
The goal of truth requires faith, which is implicit in the acceptance of the remembrance of perfect love's purpose and encompass everyone involved in every situation. This faith ensures my inevitable success, in contrast to my separate self's faithlessness, which looks only for fragmented solutions to every problem. Confronted with any seeming difficulties, my separate self will attempt to resolve them separately, an approach conflicting with unity and obscuring the truth. If I am faithless and resort to magical solutions, I will never experience true peace, but only the illusion of peace, and truth can never enter into this illusion.
Yeah, so what's he saying there?
Well, the main goal of the truth is faith. It does require faith, a leap of faith, and then you'll naturally accept the remembrance of perfect love.
Its purpose, which encompasses everyone. So he's saying there are no exceptions here.
Yeah.
Encompasses everyone involved, every situation. There's no exceptions. Everything is for my awakening without exception. If we could just get that to our thick skulls, life would be so easy, wouldn't it? That's all it's for. That's it. End of. There's no other alternative. There's no other purpose. There's no other meaning to the world. That's why he starts off with nothing I see means anything. What he means is nothing I perceive from my ego perspective really means anything at all. It's all made up, all illusion. We have to undo that in order to allow this true purpose to come. I mean, if we can just accept that, then life is easy. Okay, I understand what it's for.
Yeah.
It's for my awakening. It was never meant to work. It was never meant to make me happy, bring me joy. None of those purposes that I gave it are true. So of course I'm going to be disappointed because those purposes aren't true. So no wonder I'm always disappointed because I'm just deluded. Like I thought those were that was the purpose of my life in the world, but I was deluded. I didn't really understand.
Yeah, I mean that is so profound, Jonathan, because I've always thought about my purpose in life and explored different avenues to get to an answer on that. And when you say it as simply as the purpose of life is awakening, it's like what a relief,
Yeah, there you go. It's so simple.
Yeah,
Like, and that's
it's
going to
like,
play out differently for everyone. You've got a journey
yeah,
in that, and you're going to do certain things, and your life's going to unfold in its own unique way under the guidance of the Holy Spirit if you give it to the Holy Spirit. So, that's your unique hero's journey. But that's not really the purpose. The journey isn't the purpose.
yeah,
The purpose is to awaken from the need for a journey. It's to awaken from the whole dream.
yeah,
And you just got to figure out how that journey is going to look for you. What does that journey look like for you? And that's your destiny. That's your dharma. So then it becomes really, really simple. Okay, there's only one thing I have to do here, and that's awaken. And I give it over to the Holy Spirit, and I let it guide me. Okay, if I should become a teacher and teach the truth, then that's what I must do. And if I'm going to be a musician or an artist, and I'm going to teach it in that way, then that's what I must do. Like a poet or a writer, or just a normal person. I'm just practicing this and teaching it in my own small humble way. That's also fine. There's nothing wrong with that because the only purpose is awakening. And so all of that grandiose, my purpose needs to be some,
well, my purpose
goes
used to
away.
be about trying to change things, kind of,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But,
so,
as he says, seek not to change the world, but seek to change your mind about the world. And then maybe if you really profoundly change your mind about the world, maybe you will change the world. It has happened before. We see, people like Yeshua, the Buddha, other spiritual masters, more recently Gandhi, Mandela. These were people who profoundly changed the world because they held to these spiritual truths and they lived them. So yeah, it's possible. But if that doesn't happen on any big level, you've still changed your world because you've changed your perception of the whole world. So your world, your reality's changed. The moment you change your mind, you've changed your world. That's it. That's the simple truth. Like, how simple is that? Okay, I don't need to go and do anything grand, or I just need to change my mind.
Yeah.
And I can do that right now in any moment. In fact, it's the only time I ever can do it is right now. I can't do it in the future. I can't do it in the past. Those don't exist. I can do it now. So I awaken now, or I never awaken. Simple as that. Which brings us back to the here and now of life. Okay, right here, right now, I have a choice about the purpose I give everything and how I choose to perceive it and how I choose to experience this. I have a choice. Always.
Yeah.
Like, how simple. So it's simple, liberating, and then whatever I need to do is going to come from that simple truth. It's going to unfold. My purpose will unfold. I'll be given guidance. I'll be given ways, miracles, opportunities. Things will come to me that are meant to come for me, for my awakening. And that journey is going to be unique to me. That's your unique or special functions, the Course calls it. But you don't have to really worry about that. That's going to unfold.
Yeah.
Because that's not the real purpose. That's just the journey to awaken. That's But I think as soon as you go, I need my purpose because that's going to make my life
Well, this is it.
worthwhile.
I mean, so
There's
many
an illusion there, isn't there?
I know so many programs I've done where they talk about your vision, your mission, your purpose, kind of.
Manifest is a big one.
Yeah, but it's just like, and people's, kind of like about dreaming big and, it's all this, kind of language out there and you think, oh my God,
Because that, you see, in the ego's mindset, makes your life worthwhile. That justifies your existence. It gives you a meaningful purpose. Okay, you're going to do something worthwhile for your life because you're going to achieve something big. You're going to make a
Yeah.
big impact.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Your life was worthwhile. Well,
Mm.
really? Is that really the truth? I
Mm.
ask people who've gone on this path of making a big impact and succeeding in the world's eyes, and they'll tell you it wasn't really worth it. You know, Jim
Yeah.
Carrey said,
Yes.
you'll only know that he said, I wish everyone could be a celebrity
Yeah.
and have fame and riches, because they would realize that that's not the answer.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
people are easy for Jim Carrey to say, being a celebrity and have fame and riches, but actually it's very
Yeah.
genuine. He's saying, I wish they could have that experience, because then they would know from their own experience, like I've come to know, that that is not the answer, that is not
Mm.
going to give them what they really want.
Mm. Mm.
So grandiose, the course talks about grandiosity
Mm.
versus grandeur.
Yeah.
It's one of the sections of the text that you can read if you're interested.
I
And
remember we covered that.
yeah, exactly. Grandeur versus
Yeah.
grandiosity. And it's that
Yeah.
equation. Okay. Is it the grandeur of God, of finding who I really am? And that can be done in peace and quiet with no fanfare, no one knowing about it. The Buddha came to his awakening, no one was around, he's just under the bo tree, and he just has this experience. It's simple. No great fanfare, no like fireworks going off, just
Mm.
an experience of like I get it finally. And I'm
Yeah.
at peace because I get it. Hallelujah. All of that straining and that striving and for
Yeah.
enlightenment suddenly just drops away, and he just awakens, he just gets it.
Mm.
And then just lives in this very peaceful way. And I was obviously guided to teach and so on. So that was his Dharma
Mm.
playing out. But it just naturally followed from his awakened state.
Mm.
There was no need to make a big song and dance about, this is my grand purpose and I'm like amazing. Like no, quite the opposite. Like none of that would have been even in his mind. It's just like, okay, well, like what else is there to do now that I've awakened? But teach it.
Mm.
Like, okay, that's the logical thing. I'll just stay in the truth, and I'll help those who need some guidance on the path. And he just did that faithfully for 45 years or something. And now we go, wow, what an amazing life, legend. But there was none of that. He was just doing whatever arose moment by moment.
Yeah.
So simple. And the same with Yeshua. It wasn't like, oh, like I'm going to be the Messiah. No, like he just lived. He just lived from this authentic truth of, okay, this is who I am, and I must follow the guidance of that, and I must do what I feel called to do. And it took him to a very dark place.
Mm.
Yeah, all very well being the Messiah, but then you got to face the crucifixion. They don't tell you about that, do they? Grand purpose led him to a not a very nice place at the end of his life. But that was not my will, but thy will be done. So I hope this helps you just resolve that whole purpose
Oh, it does.
dilemma.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like I just need to use every situation to let go and to awaken, and everything will follow from that. And if I'm meant to do something in the world, like a purpose, then that will be shown to me. It will come.
Yeah.
I'll be guided to do that. The opportunity will come, and then I will listen to the Holy Spirit, and it'll guide me accordingly. So watch out; it might be coming your way anytime soon. Because when you're open to it, that's the interesting thing. When you stop looking for it, it finds you.
Yeah.
That's the
Exactly.
fascinating thing about this. The more you desire something, the more you're desperate to find your purpose, the more elusive it is.
Yeah.
When you just let go and go, okay, well, I'm all I've got to do is this simple letting go every moment. That's all I've got to do. Then your purpose, your joy, your happiness will find you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just sat and there's that great quote I've quoted in the program earlier in the year. It says, your happiness is like a butterfly. If you seek it
Yeah.
constantly, it's always elusive. But if you just sit down quietly
and let it settle,
it may just come and alight on you. Beautiful, beautiful quote. Just okay, stop all the seeking, stop all the desiring, and just let go of all that, and then it will find you.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
all of these programs, they're well-meaning, but the more you seek it and the more you're desperate for it, and the
Yeah.
less likely you are to find it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because you're so busy looking for it that
Mm,
you've forgotten that it's already right here,
mm,
right now in you.
mm, mm.
It's like you're looking and looking, but hang on, it's already here. So why do I need to
Exactly. I
look
know.
if
Yeah.
it's already here?
Yeah.
The more I look outside of me, the less likely I am to find it because I'm looking in the
Mm,
wrong place.
yeah.
Uh, so that's why, enlightenment in the Zen, one of the Zen sayings is enlightenment's a joke.
Mm,
Because once you get it, you're like, I've been looking all these years for something that I already have.
yeah. Yeah.
It's bizarre. I remember once having an
Yeah.
experience, actually. I'll share with you. Because I was looking for this key and I looked for it for 10 minutes. And then eventually I just paused and went, okay, what am I not seeing here? And my fist was closed and I had the key all along in my
In
fist,
your hand.
my hand. And I was like, oh my God, how
Yeah.
dumb have I been? How could I miss
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
10 minutes, I've been looking for something that I already have.
Yeah.
But there was a little snippet of this truth.
Mm,
Like you spend all this time looking for this key and you
mm,
already have it. You've
mm.
just held it so tightly that you forgot about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's always been there, and all you needed to do was stop
Mm,
looking
mm.
and notice what's already here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the secret. That's enlightenment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's so simple. Like, why doesn't everyone get this?
Mm, mm.
You think like surely everyone would understand this, but it requires an experiential journey to understand this. You're
Mm,
only going to get it when you've probably gone and you've searched for it and you've searched for it and
mm,
you've looked for it and you've
mm,
been frustrated and you've done what the Buddha did. And
mm,
eventually the truth dawns upon you experiential
mm.
through that experience. So from your perspective, those years of searching were not wasted in
No,
a
no,
sense.
no, not at all. Not at
No,
all. No.
no, I'm glad you can see
No,
that.
I don't see them as a waste at
Hmm.
all.
That was all
So,
part of the process.
yeah.
Yeah, you need to go
Yeah,
and
yeah.
search and do this program
Yeah.
and this and seek until
Yeah.
eventually you're ready to find the answer that was always there all
Yeah.
along, but you weren't ready to find it at in the past at
Yeah.
those points when you were still seeking.
Yeah.
So it reveals itself when you're ready, and
Yeah.
that will come whenever each person is ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this just happens to be your time. So,
Yeah.
be grateful for
Yeah.
it. Great.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, no,
seeking
I
is
am.
over.
I'm really, really grateful.
I can enter the
Um,
phase of finding. Like I can be
yeah.
a finder rather than a seeker
Yeah.
and just rest in the peace that brings me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a great, sense of peace and contentment in it, isn't there? It's like,
Mm,
okay, I don't need to
mm,
seek desperately anymore. And I don't need to look for the next program and
mm.
it's like I already know the truth. It's already there.
Yeah.
No one can give me what I already have. I already know it.
Mm.
It's just now the job is just to stay there.
Yeah.
Don't get distracted. You don't get tempted away because the
Yeah.
ego might still be there. And, but that could be nice. Go
Yeah.
down that way, go down that path. There's always another
Mm.
course. There's always another program.
Yeah.
I'm not saying these aren't interesting,
Yeah.
but are they going to give you a truth that you don't already know?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not. All they can do is confirm the truth that you already know.
Mm.
Then you have to go, okay, well, do I need confirmation of the truth I already know, or could I just rest in the truth? Like I already
Yeah.
know it. I could just meditate on it
Yeah.
and just stay there. Like I already have it, I already know it.
Mm.
So again, it's the end of the seeking. It's the end of the personal growth industry.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need all of that journeying and those courses and those
Mm.
programs anymore when you
Mm.
finally awoken.
Mm.
But paradoxically, maybe you need those as part of your process. So I'm
Mm.
not saying that those are pointless and a waste of time
Mm.
because they're useful at a point in everyone's journey. I've done them, you've
Yeah.
done them. Yes,
Yeah.
they were all part of a process. But
Yeah.
once you understand the truth, you don't need them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a great liberation in that because there's
Yeah.
another kind of bondage in being the eternal seeker.
Oh, yeah.
Never find it. It's another trap.
Yeah.
and you got to see that as well. These continuously seeking and seeking. Oh, it's it's the next program, it's the next evolution of your program, and I'll find the answer there. They upsell you very cleverly. Oh, you've got basic, but now you need to go to mastery or advanced, or because wait until you come on my mastery. I'm going to give you truths that I haven't told you. Well, why don't you just tell me the truth? Like, you've had 6 weeks of a program. Why don't you just give it to me? Surely it doesn't take that long. If it's the truth, it shouldn't be complex. So I suppose I wanted to create a program, the art of letting go. It's just like, okay, here it is. There it is. There's the truth. Bang. 6 weeks, you got it. If you want to go further and go deeper into it, you already have it. Maybe that's enough for you. But if you want to go deeper into this, then join me on a 1-year program. We'll go deep into this, and we'll just really explore it, and really allow you to get rid of all the little ego elements. Which are there, because they are there, and we need to go on a journey to let them go. That's the only journey. All right, so all good, really. Where are we? We've done that. So let's do the key message. If I set peace and truth as my only goal.
If I set peace and truth as my only goal in every situation, then every situation will serve that purpose, bringing true fulfillment. Without deciding upfront that my goal in every situation is peace, my separate self will distort my perception and look for false magic solutions that cannot ever bring me lasting peace. Only a unified goal of peace in every situation will help me experience true peace consistently and reveal the deeper truth beyond all illusions. That is the cause of real permanent peace.
Yeah, nice. I think that's a nice key message.
Yeah.
Just reminding us of, my only purpose is awakening, which means my only purpose is peace.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got to remember.
Yeah.
I could see peace instead of this, lesson 34. I could see peace instead of what I'm now perceiving. There's the lesson right there.
Yeah.
In one course lesson, absolutely game-changing, life-changing, mind-blowing. Your purpose is there, your function is there, everything's there, and it's so simple.
Yeah.
I think that's part of why we struggle with it. The ego is like, oh, it can't be that simple. Truth can't possibly be simple. It's got to be more complicated.
Yeah.
But actually, logically, the truth would be simple, right? That's why it's the truth. So it doesn't actually need complexity. It's the opposite of complexity. It reveals itself when you're willing to just strip away the complexity and let all that go.
Yeah.
And just have a simple acceptance of the truth. And, hopefully this course in miracles and this program do that. That's the intention. It just helps you strip it away and
no, absolutely.
let's just cut out all the crap and just get to the the simplicity of it.
The matter. Yeah,
the absolute heart of it. And then remember, even the course, he says at some point, forget this world, forget this course, and come with holy empty hands unto your God.
Yeah.
So he's pointing to a reality beyond needing to study the course even. You don't need the course when you're fully awakened, because you just are awakened. You just get it.
Yeah.
But so that's another thing that we can get attached to being a course student. We do this, and then we define ourselves by the course. And I see this happening in the course community all the time. No, it's a means of awakening. It's a path.
Yeah.
It's not the ultimate goal. It's part of the illusion, but it's the part of the illusion that's very helpful in awakening from the illusion. So you need to go on this path. If you're stuck in the maze, you need a path out. You need maybe a rope that's going to show you the way out, or instructions. Think of the Holy Spirit as a drone that's above the maze, and it can see exactly what the maze is and where you are, and it can say, okay, go left here, go right. And I'll guide you out of it. You need that guidance while you're in the maze. But when you're out of the maze, you don't need that. The drone has no purpose anymore, because you've escaped the maze. So it's that the truth in action guiding you through the maze. That's what this course is for. Very
Yeah.
useful while you need that.
Yeah.
Eventually you won't need it, and be open to it. There are going to be times where you can just drop into truth, and you need do nothing. It just is.
Mm.
It's a lovely experience. Enjoy it while it lasts, and then you go back into the world, and then there's a decision to make, and then you need some guidance, and then then I need it again.
Yeah.
So this course can give you all of that. It can give you ultimate truth and moments of just perfect peace and joy and bliss and meditation. But then you're going to have times where you need guidance and you need to make decisions, and then it can give you that as well. I think again, some teachings, the pure non-dual teachings. Well, the pathless path. You don't need any teachings anymore. You don't need any spiritual practices because it's just truth. Yeah, they're pointing to the ultimate truth beyond all illusion. But again, that's not the full picture, because you might need times where you do need guidance and you do need help and you do need to ask. And so then the Holy Spirit's there for that. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
So you're just going to use it appropriately depending on the situation. There are going to be times where, you could just rest in truth and you're in a nice, peaceful place and there's no decisions to make. Fantastic. But there will probably come times where you do need guidance and you do need to apply these teachings and you do need to let go again. And so then, yes, you need the Holy Spirit and you need its guidance in your life again. And that's not, there's no shame in that. That's just what we all need to do while we're still in the human form.
Yeah.
And that's just a great relief, because you're like, well, everything is there whenever you need it. Whatever you need is going to be given. It's a very easy, functional, calm way of living your life. Okay, no anxiety. Whatever I need in any situation is going to be given.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly how that's going to work out, but that's the faith, right? That's the getting on the raft and saying, okay, Holy Spirit, take me home. I don't know the way, but show me.
Yeah.
I'm willing to trust this, that there's a guide beyond my own knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's gonna show me, how to get home.
Yeah.
And that it's going to guide me, every moment of that journey. So I can never really be lost. Hallelujah for that. So that's you must, but you got the summary. So I'm glad you came in the summary.
Yeah, no, that's great. No. I mean, that was really, that was really good.
Yeah, really good, profound. So what's the time? We could do the lesson 8:55. So it's 9 o'clock. Do you want to end it here, or do you want to do the lesson?
How long will the lesson take?
Well, the lesson's pretty quick.
Is it? Okay.
Well, it's a review lesson, so it's just three key ideas, and then there's one or two slides that go with that. So.
Okay. Or maybe could we do a meditation, actually, Jonathan? Can we go into a meditation?
Yeah. You want to meditate on the lesson? Okay.
Yeah, because it's 5 to 9.
Yeah.
And, it'd be nice to sort of finish. I think if we do the lesson, it could be a little long, only because I've had a long day. So if we could do the meditation, that would be lovely, actually. And then
meditate on the lesson. They're just three ideas, so it's not.
I did read it. I think a lot of it was similar to yesterday's lesson, wasn't it? So
so the key idea, my mind holds only what I think with God, and then today's lesson is about the abundance of source. If I recall, let's go to it.
Yeah.
142. I remember that one with God.
Yes, because I did read. That's right. Yes, because I did read. I did read.
So that's it. That's the whole lesson in one slide.
Yeah.
It's really simple. So we'll just read that and then do a meditation.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so my mind holds only what I think with God, pure formless awareness of perfect love. I thank my Father for his gifts to me. I thank my source of abundance for its gifts to me. Let me remember I am one with God. I remember that I am one with perfect love or abundance.
They're really, really simple. ideas, but very powerful.
Yeah.
I thank my source of abundance for its gifts to me. So if you really believe that, then how can you be ungrateful? How can you
Yeah.
be angry or upset about anything? Because I'm just thanking my source
Mm.
for all these gifts, which are immediate. You know, my peace, my love, my joy, everything I can experience right now
Mm.
is given to me. So this is, the kingdom of heaven is literally here now, as Yeshua was saying. It's all within you if you'll just open your mind to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which means you just got to let go of all those grievances and those expectations, which don't serve you at all.
Mm.
And then let me remember, I'm one with God. I'm one with perfect love or abundance.
Yeah.
Again, that's a powerful reminder. Like I am one with this perfect loving awareness, which is abundance itself, which is an abundant life, and that's mine. I have that right now. There's no way that it's not.
Yeah.
Which, like, how can you be unhappy then if you live this way? How could you ever be unhappy with anything?
Mm.
It's only the ego's wanting to make exceptions to these teachings that cause the problem.
Yeah.
No, in this situation, I can't give thanks for the abundance because the situation's so terrible. So I make an exception.
Mm.
See, I thank my source of abundance for its gifts to me. Okay, so where's the gift in the situation? Yes, someone has stolen something from me, someone's died, whatever's happened. Okay, but where's the gift in
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
And I thank my source for that gift. Okay, now I'm opening myself to a different perception of it. I'm inviting that gift to reveal itself to me, and it's always there if you're open to it. And so this makes us, again, very resilient. We're able to deal with the adversities of life and find the joy and the abundance anyway. And this is mental health, resilience, mental health, all of this feeds into that. If you don't have this, then you're going to be mentally ill because you're going to be in the ego's misperception of lack of abundance, scarcity, uh, being unhappy, being dissatisfied all the time, which is not a very nice way to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so really, really simple ideas, but very profound. So, any other thoughts on those, or do you just want to do a meditation on them?
Yeah, if we could just do the meditation, that would be great.
Yeah. Let's dive in then. Okay, so this is a meditation on today's lesson 142. So just making yourself comfortable, sitting with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Cup your hands in your lap, close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises, the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale. And remind yourself of the key idea of today's review lesson. My mind holds only what I think with God, or if you prefer, my awareness holds only what I think with pure formless awareness of perfect love. So my awareness holds only what I think with pure formless awareness of perfect love. I can only think loving thoughts. I can only be clear and calm and aware and peaceful. From that perspective, just breathe in again. Scan your mind. Notice any thoughts, any emotions that go against this, that are not in alignment with pure formless awareness of perfect love. That seem to contradict that truth. Maybe there's a bit of fear, anxiety, depression, sadness, anger, resentment, frustration, and on it goes. Whatever emotion there's, notice how that actually covers this pure formless awareness of perfect love. Any of those thoughts and emotions deny the truth of pure formless awareness and perfect love. Notice that. You can't have both simultaneously. If you're in a grievance, then you deny this pure formless awareness of perfect love. And if you're in pure formless awareness of perfect love, then any negative thought or emotion does not exist. It's one or the other. So decide now that my mind holds only what I think with God, the pure formless awareness of perfect love. And there's nothing else. So anything else must be false, must be illusory. You notice it, breathe into it, you surround it with this higher awareness of truth, and consciously, intentionally, you let it go. You exhale, blow it out with the breeze of your breath. Into nothingness that it really is. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Let it all out. Imagine it's like a dark cloud or black smoke leaving you. It's going, gone. And feel a bit lighter, a bit clearer, a bit emptier after doing this. And now breathe in again. Say, I thank my Father or my source of abundance for his or its gifts to me. So in the alternative, I thank my source of abundance for its gifts to me. And feel those gifts. These are not worldly gifts, material gifts. These are gifts of God, gifts of the Spirit. Just rest in those gifts. They are not outside of you. Somewhere else, in another place or time, still to be discovered. They are right here, right now. Kingdom of heaven, as Yeshua put it, is upon the earth, but no one sees it because they're looking outside of them in the world. All they have to do is turn their attention within and notice the gifts that are already there. Just notice the peace, the love, the joy. the abundance of life itself. It's here now. Exhale on the truth of that. The sense of just relaxing into that. Letting go of all expectations or judgments to the contrary, and just allowing yourself to experience the abundance that's already here in your awareness right now. And so in this state of mind, you should remember that you are one with perfect love or abundance. Say, I am one, perfect love, abundance. It's here now. It's in me right now. I can never lose this because this is who I am. I cannot lose who I am. No matter what changes in the world, external situations, people, places, events, and circumstances, these are always changing in the world. That is the nature of the dream. Change, constant change. But if you remember that you're one with perfect love, or abundance itself, then that change doesn't matter. You have a truth that you can hold to, no matter what seems to happen in the world. Truth that will allow you to deal with all of the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, as Shakespeare put it so poetically in one of his plays, Hamlet, I believe. Deal with those slings and arrows of outrageous fortune and maintain your peace and not be affected by any of that. So just sink into this awareness. There's nowhere else to go. There's nothing else to do. Nothing else to think about, to remember. Allow yourself to sink inwards, go deeper into this perfect loving awareness, which is the essence of abundance, which is the truth, which is what you are. Allow yourself to journey into that, to just immerse yourself in, dive into this reality of perfect love or abundance. And just rest in this perfect loving awareness, this abundance of life itself for a few minutes of deep, peaceful silence. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about, nothing else to do, just breathe. Soft, subtle breaths, relax, and let go into perfect loving awareness or abundance that's already there, that is your true self, that is who you really are. Just allow yourself to have that experience the next few minutes of deep silence. And if any thoughts intrude, seem to negate your perfect loving awareness or abundance, then just remind yourself, my mind holds only what I think with God or pure formless awareness of perfect love. So only this perfect loving awareness, this abundance is true. All other thoughts are simply not true. So just let them go, blow them away, to the breeze of your breath, to nothingness they really are, gone. There's nothing substantial, nothing So just gently coming back from this deep state of love and abundance and peace, that you leave it, you just bring some of your awareness back into the world via the breath, back into the world of sense perceptions. Stay connected always to this abundance, to this perfect love and awareness, which is the truth of who you are. You can never not have that or be that. So now on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. And the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils, and pause at the top of the inhale. Smile, scan your mind. And just notice what's going on there. Any thoughts, any emotions, anything that's negative of pure formless awareness of perfect love. Notice it and remind yourself that my mind holds only what I think with this awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love, recall it, God. Breathe that in, embrace it, invite it into every part of your mind, every part of your body, every cell of your body, every fiber of your being is in this loving awareness. Let it go and just draw your mind into this loving awareness. My mind holds only what I think with God or pure formless awareness of perfect love. I thank my source of abundance for its gifts to me. Breathe those gifts in, invite all these gifts of love, peace, joy, happiness, which are always present, into your awareness, anchor them in. Finally say, so I remember that I am one with perfect love or abundance. I am not separate from it. I am one with it. Perfect love or abundance is my true nature. And so it is. Just smile at that. Anchor the state in. You're going to stay in the state for the rest of the evening and carry it with you to the rest of your week. It guides all your thoughts, words, actions, decisions, so on. So it is said. So it is done. Amen. And so on the count of 3, just open your eyes. Take a moment to look around. And the room you're in, notice this loving, peaceful awareness is still there, though your eyes are open, and you can see the forms of the world. You can hear things, touch them, taste them, smell them. There is nothing really affects this underlying awareness, this abundant awareness that you have. It's always there. It's always peaceful. If you rest in that, of course, it says rest in God in lesson 109. If you rest in God, you rest in this awareness, then there's no problem. Life's good. As you go out of this awareness, that's when the problems arise. So noting that, just use today's lessons for the rest of the day, and my mind holds only what I think is God, or pure formless awareness of perfect love throughout the rest of the week for another 8 days of these review lessons. Use that to help you be vigilant for the ego and all of its thoughts and emotions. If your mind holds only what I think with God, then none of those can be real, and reminding yourself of that will help you to let them go, restore your mind to the abundance that it really is, which is my wish for you. So that's it for today's meditation and session. Thank you, Archie.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, that was a really nice meditation.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Mm.
These just sort of come to me in the moment, just spontaneously guided by the spirit. The words just come, but glad you enjoy it, and it takes you into that state, which is a lovely state to be in and stay in and go to bed in. If you
Absolutely.
can set yourself
Yeah.
into that state immediately before bed,
Mm.
you're going to have a different quality of sleep.
Absolutely. Mm.
You notice that. So it's really, really worth doing a meditation pre-bed to get yourself into that abundant state, because that abundance, that state becomes your prayer to the universe. Instead of all this conscious manifestation, I want, I need, it's like, no, I'm already in an abundant state. I'm just experiencing that. And now from that fullness, from that abundance, miracles and so on, manifestations can come into the field of abundance, which I'm claiming in my experience every night. So that before bed is particularly powerful, because now you're going to go to sleep and rest in that state of mind for 8 hours. So this is where you start to change reality. So yeah, really powerful stuff. And then miracles happen unconsciously. You don't have to go and try; they just start to unfold and happen. And that's how it should be. That's why they're miracles and not conscious manifestation. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed that, and enjoy the rest of your week. I will send you that testimonial. Probably tonight. So it won't take me very long. Check it out, see if you're happy with it. Then I'll insert it into the proposal, and I'll send you that once you have. In fact, I'll put it in. So I'll just put it in. You can edit it in the proposal. Yeah. Thanks. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. No, it's a pleasure. And shall we just sort of communicate on WhatsApp to set dates for next week then, unless you've got.
Could do it now if you want.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What time suits you?
Uh,
Monday, Tuesday.
Yep. Monday afternoon is good. So
Okay.
from 2:30.
Okay. Can you do an evening as well or
I
not?
can. Yeah, I can do the evening as well.
Let's do an evening because then Kim can maybe join,
Yeah.
and then maybe a
So
Wednesday.
shall we say, I don't know, is 5 o'clock okay then on
Yeah,
Monday?
should
Or
be, yeah.
evening session? Yeah.
Monday and then a Wednesday maybe.
Yeah. And then Wednesday, again, will be evening. So from 6 o'clock, if that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Confirm it on Monday. Okay, we'll see you
Yeah.
Monday. And yeah, in the meantime, I'll send you that stuff so we can communicate on WhatsApp. Yeah, it's fine if I just send it to you on WhatsApp.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've
Absolutely.
got WhatsApp
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay,
Right. Okay.
thank
Thanks
you.
very much.
All
Yep.
right,
Good night.
namaste.
Yeah. Namaste. Bye.
Have a good week.
Yeah.
Bye.
You too. Bye bye.
Okay, so that is a wrap for today. Thank you for joining. If you enjoyed the session, then why not subscribe to the channel? Very easy to do. You'll be notified whenever we go live. Those live sessions discussed or catch the recording. If you want to go a bit deeper, go to lifeball.com and you'll be prompted to sign up to the Telegram group, to which I send out a daily inspirational quote. I didn't actually do that today, unusually, because we focused on the text, but normally we do a quote, some comments on that kind of blog post, which I write, and then a daily mind training lesson based on A Course in Miracles, Workbook Lesson, often some other things like discussion sessions. Sometimes I post videos, songs, movies, things that are inspiring. And you also get access to these live sessions. So you can join the live sessions from links in the Telegram messages. So if you want to go a bit deeper, go to lifeball.com, sign up, and I hope to see you in the group. And maybe in one of these sessions, who knows? Maybe our paths will cross soon. Thanks for watching or listening, and namaste, which means the truth in me honors that same truth in you. I'm wishing you much love, peace, and joy in that truth. Until next time, bye for now.